man. Oh, woo. Solo night. Solo. If you're out there, wish me luck. I think I'm going to do this a little bit solo tonight, so hopefully it does well. Hey guys, what's up? It's Chris P from the Average Boys Podcast, and you're here every Sunday night, just like we always are. Today, I am running a solo show. Today, everybody's kind of got busy, so I'm kind of left solo, isolated by myself. Literally, Robert's like, yo, ladies. No ladies today, man. It's all me. Oh my God, Yeti, dude, it's good to have you in the show, man. You too, Rob, you too. I heard about that. That was pretty crazy. Mama, no. Yeah. Dirty Dom did me dirty too, man. It looks like I'm solo tonight. So it's going to be me just dropping some interesting news, probably for about an hour, maybe at the max. I don't really got too much, but I do want to talk nerd shit as I usually do. But yeah, man, I heard about that King Yeti. Apparently there was like some human trafficking thing that got busted at San Diego Comic-Con this past month. Or actually like last week, 14 people got saved in some kidnapping scheme or something like that. It was nuts. But you would think that would be like a normal kind of situation that would probably happen a lot at those, since there's so many people congregated. It's so easy to lose people and all that stuff. There's hundreds and thousands of people that show up to those events. So that's like, it's pretty bad when it comes to that kind of stuff. So if you do ever attend a big show, like make sure you're with homies and stuff like that. Make sure you're cool with them, so that way you don't ever get lost and get picked up, man. But other than that, I only heard a little bit about that, but thank God they were busted, and thank God they were brought to justice and all that stuff. But first off, I want to say thank you for everybody that's tuning in and jumping in with us. Actually, I'm going to be here by myself tonight. The boys are all busy today. Brian is at work. David's at work. Nico missing. He's probably at work too, but Trigger's been missing for months. So what we're going to be talking about today is, of course, recent stuff with Marvel and all that stuff that's going on. Deadpool on its success. And the future of the MCU. I'm really, really excited to talk about, especially since we're done with San Diego Comic-Con. We got a bunch of information off of it. Of course, we also heard some other stuff about James Gunn. Superman is already done filming up. What do we got to look forward to that? And if anybody's really excited to see that, actually, it's probably something I want to talk about right now. If you're in the comment section, it'd be really cool if you guys stayed verbal with me, because man, it's going to be a long day doing this by yourself. It gets kind of rough. But recently we heard in the news that James Gunn had finally finished filming Superman. So Superman's going to be out there. What's up, dude? Jeremy, my man. Good to see you, my dude. I'll jump on that right now. So right now it looks like Superman's already finished filming. It looks like it's going to be a release for next year. We talked about it before here on the show. People are talking about the costume for Superman and stuff, but are you guys really excited for a Superman show? And if you are, let me know in the comment section what it is you're excited for. It's really crazy because me and Brian and some of the guys on the show, when we talk about it, we've always talked about, how like the Comic Cons and all this stuff is a really great way to bring people in. And here we are a week later from San Diego Comic-Con. Marvel brought the fire, man. If you guys paid attention, they brought a lot of information. And James Gunn and the DC universe brought only a logo and a trailer for Creature Commando. So far, we don't really know much. Jeremy's not slowing down, man. I'll tell you that much. They didn't really bring much to the table when it came to this year's San Diego Comic-Con, which is very important for them as a company to bring in people. if you're fans of DC and you're in the comment section, I want to know if you're excited or if you are happy with the way the company is keeping itself right now and what they've chosen to do for San Diego Comic-Con. Because that was a discussion we had last week when it came to what it is that they did for San Diego Comic-Con. Because like I said, Marvel brought a bunch of stuff. If I'm not mistaken, the Fantastic Four has not even started filming. I think they barely started filming July 20 something. And they had like a whole panel. They had a trailer. They had a bunch of stuff that they were bringing in. Brian asked me a really good question. It's like, if James Gunn didn't have this stuff and he wasn't ready, what would he be able to bring to the table when it came to San Diego Comic-Con? If you can, guys, let me know in the comment section. Jeremy says, Rebel Moon, director's cut, Child of Fire is so much better. I haven't seen part 2 because 3.5 hours, part 1 alone was enough for me today. LOL. Okay, well, that's a good question. So I didn't even know that there was supposed to be a director's cut for Rebel Moon. Of course, Rebel Moon was a original film made by Zack Snyder, the creator of the famous Justice League and the Snyderverse and all that stuff that's going on before the James Gunn situation with DC. Released a huge 4-hour cut of the Justice League movie and all that stuff. So very, very interesting. Whoa, my boy Brian D. Brian, what's up, my dude? How you doing at work?
Yo, what's going on, my boy? Listen, I just wanted to just pop in really quick and say, yo, listen, you're by yourself today, but you're holding it down. I love it. I love the fact that you started with this nonsense that you're about to spew about the Superman James Gunn shit. All right, we've had this discussion multiple times. I have a question for you, though, sir.
Okay, brother.
All right. I get it, right? I get the fact that he didn't come with anything for San Diego Comic-Con, more or less. But it's a Superman movie, right? It's a Superman movie. Who is not going to see this? Is anyone going to care that he didn't do anything at the San Diego Comic-Con?
It's a good point. It's a really good point.
It's a Superman movie. We're going to see it. We're all going to pile in, and we're going to see it, and we're going to judge it based off that. We're going to get trailers. We're going to get like 3 or 4 trailers, and then we can base our judgment off of that. I think that would be a good way to assess the situation. Yes, we would have liked to have something shown at San Diego Comic-Con, but again, I'll reiterate what I said last week. When you're going up against something like Marvel, like this is the first time Marvel was back at Hall H in a very long time, you knew they were going to bring the heat.
They're going to come with fire.
So if we knew that, I'm pretty sure that James Gunn knew that. So if you just want to, sidetrack and let them do their thing, then I can understand that.
I really think it's a great thing that it's Superman. That's the first thing that they're kind of holding off on and bringing as the first film to the slate for the DC universe. I think he's going to be the iconic system that's going to bring it all back together. He's going to be the glue that kind of mends it. On that take, I mean, there's been a bunch of scrutiny around them recasting Henry Cavill and all of this stuff and going on. Do you have a lot of faith in James Gunn bringing a homely Superman, or do you think it's going to be kind of like the grungy, I wouldn't say necessarily like The Boys style, because it's not going to be like a rated R film, but do you think he's going to bring that like wholesome Superman story back, like the Christopher Reeves days?
Yeah, so I think that's what we've talked about a few times. But you know what? That to me, that's the most interesting part of this whole thing, right? James Gunn has a very distinct style. He has a very distinct vision and a way that he portrays that vision. And it doesn't necessarily correlate with the Superman story, So that would be interesting to see how he maneuvers this. But again, whatever he decides to do, however he decides to approach this version of Superman, a lot is riding on this film. So if he wants to be a little bit caught, because you got to understand, like this is like the first movie in his slate of his DC universe, right? So you can't mess this one up. So if he wants to be a little bit cautious about guarding it and making sure that things are, I don't want to say perfect, but as good as can be, then I'm all for it, because if he messes this one up, everything's going to be downhill. If he can't get Superman right, who is going to want to watch a Superwoman movie, or who's going to want to watch a Batman movie? Who's going to want to watch anything else that has to do with this universe? So a lot is riding on this. Whether or not I have faith in him or not, I don't know if I can judge it based off of that. Because he's got some things that I like, he's got some things that I don't like. So I'm just going to grade it off of a curve and just highlight the fact that he's going to be under a lot of pressure on this one.
Very, very true. Very true. Good point. Good point. Yeah, I think, and then not only that, like with the way that he carried Guardians of the Galaxy 3, where it had a lot of that very feel good feeling with the Rocket Raccoon story with the family and all that stuff. I think he can tug at the strings more than enough because we have enough backstory and understanding of who Superman is. So I don't think there's going to be like a lot of crazy work that needs to be done to kind of do like a whole like retelling of what Superman is.
Mhm.
I guess the idea of like maybe giving us more of like a Lois and him story that's more family based, or even more to his parents on both
Yeah.
sides, the parents from Krypton and the parents from the Earth, very much like the Christopher Reeves story from back in the day.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
also
man.
one other thing I wanted to just to point out, when he does do what is it in July? July is what it's middle of summer. There's gonna be
Yeah,
a whole
July
bunch of
11th, 2025. Got it on the screen right now.
there's gonna be a whole lot of competition in the movie theaters.
Yep.
So,
See that?
if he wants to go that route about the family and things, I'm not quite sure that's what we're gonna get. I think we're gonna get a lot of action. I think we're gonna get a fast-paced story. Um, that's what I think, because that's what James Gunn does. I think that he's gonna stick to his guns. No pun intended, in that sense. I don't think we're gonna get a slowed down version where we're gonna be a lot of things are gonna be drawn out. I think we're gonna get a really fast paced story, and I think that's honestly his best bet. Listen, I gotta go. I gotta go back to work. I just wanted to jump in just to show face and just say that I'm proud that you're tackling this alone. I wish I could be here with you and everybody in the comments and everybody listening, of course. But I got to make that money. So hold it down. Have a great show. I'll be back next week.
Thank you, brother.
All right, man.
Laters, laters, laters.
Peace.
That was Brian D, folks, on the floor at work, living life, doing his thing. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for tuning in and come jumping in with me and stuff like that. Jumping back into the comment sections real quick, we got King Yeti that says, this is going off of right before when Brian jumped in. I'm not too excited, but I will give James Gunn a shot. On the first one, it's better be some mind-blowing it better be some mind-blowing shit. I won't care about anything any of the rest. I don't know. Like you have to remember that what Superman does for the comic books is he's like the backbone of most superheroes. He's the Jiminy Cricket of most of them, and he holds down like most of the fights and stuff like that. Of course, like very very strong-willed when it comes to like his morals and statures, like his do not kill and or give people a chance kind of mentality. Very very Goku-ish, I guess you could say. But yeah, I do understand with this because the same thing that Brian said. I mean, James Gunn came through in Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't like James Gunn. A lot of people from the very beginning of the podcast know that I don't like him for the tweet situation and all that stuff that happened in the past when he got fired the first time. But they kept him, and all I'm doing is critiquing his works, not him as a human being. His works, his art does very well. He did very well in holding it down for the trilogy for Guardians of the Galaxy. Star-Lord had a really good story himself, but I think Rocket Raccoon's story was the one that kind of like held through and through, and we got a really good telling of a character that was very stoic and very stern, and turned into like this heart of gold character, and I think he did the writing very very well. So to be able to jump into like a story like Superman and give us like a Brainiac villain or some kind of villain that wants to take away like his home, his stature, his people, and all that stuff, I think it's going to be pretty good. We'll just have to wait and give it a chance. Like we said, we wish he had something, but he didn't. And Brian made a really good point right now when he jumped in, which was like he's going to jump in there and he's going to try to compete with Marvel, bringing in all of this crazy stuff. Marvel had like flying cars and Robert Downey Jr., for crap's sakes. Like, how are they supposed to compete with that? But at the same time, yeah, imagine wanting Brainiac day one. Yeah, I'm not kidding, man. It's going to be crazy. But yeah, like I'm pretty excited. I'm a big Superman fan. I mean, I think a lot of us have that like Captain America-esque vibe when it comes to Superman. Some people don't like him because he's too perfect or he's the Boy Scout kind of thing, but he is the backbone of heroism when it comes to comic books and what children and things look up to. So it's good. I think it's a good story for them to start off with. John, my boy from Corpus Christi, my best friend since junior high, says, hey, I saw Deadpool and Wolverine again. So in the comment section, if you've seen Deadpool and Wolverine, let us know, or let me know. What do you think of the rewatchability for the Deadpool film? Are you watching it because of all the cameos and all the jokes, or is it just a good fashion story, a good fashion summertime movie with a lot of actions? Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Derpy, good to see you. I see you comment. Good evening. And Jeremy puts also, I don't think he'll pull it off. Oof. I'll watch it when it hits Tubi for doing so bad at the box office, and Max is just being nice to have it all on their platform. Man, Jeremy, you're a savage, dude. I'm not even gonna lie. That's pretty crazy. But yeah, I can imagine, man. I mean, DC itself as a company, you know, a lot of people were really excited. I know Jeremy himself, he's a pretty big fan of Zack Snyder's work. So to see him get replaced or to be overturned by someone like James Gunn from the DC, from the Marvel universe, and come in and like take charge with I forgot who else he's doing it with, but yeah, I could see where you could be a little upset. I mean, the Snyderverse wasn't too bad. It was a little weird when it came to the apocalyptic story, which is what we talked about before. Batman banging Lois and cheating on Superman and having a miscarriage and a baby with like and Superman or Batman has to raise it, and it got real crazy. Derby jumping in with the comment section that I told Brian, imagine Brainiac day one. But you know what? Like, Derpy, I'm gonna put this out there. I think we heard that the Authority is going to be one of the first like rivals. I wouldn't say villains because they're kind of like, you know, anti-hero heroes. Who would you guys like to see as the first villain in a Superman film? I think in the old school Christopher Reeves movie, we had General Zod and his the lackeys. I forgot their two names, the girl and the guy. They were a pretty cool, interesting story, and they did a pretty good thing back in the day. But like, would you want to see General Zod come back just like they did for Henry Cavill's Superman, or would you want a whole new villain? And if so, who do you think it should be? Because I mean, Superman's got a pretty interesting rogue gallery. So I'd like to see if anybody has any ideas on what they would do. Jeremy says, Man of Steel was perfection of what Superman is. Okay, I could see that. A lot of people were big fans of it. Me, I was kind of like middle ground with it. I thought it was okay, but yeah, it fed my nerdism when it came to having a Superman film. Henry Cavill, king of the nerds. I love the guy. He did a fantastic job as Superman. And then not only that, I mean, we just recently got him again in as the Cavalrine, if you like to put it. If, no spoilers, but most definitely that was a really fun cameo. King Yeti says, if DC makes a Michael movie or a Constantine movie where he gets the Spear of Destiny and Dr. Fate helmet, then I would watch it. And would you kind of consider that more of like a Dark League, like a Justice League Dark universe, or would you consider that more of like a magic story? Because I know in most Superman stories, he's not very well against magic, but you're talking about just in general, if they do like a Michael movie or a Constantine movie, man, I am not going to lie. I would flip the fuck out if we got a Constantine with Keanu Reeves again. I think, in my opinion, that's one of the best DC films they ever had, and I thought it was amazing. But Dr. Fate's helmet would be pretty interesting. Well, I mean, we had Dr. Fate in Shazam, and he didn't do that bad, right? Of course, like he kind of like sacrifices himself at the end, all kind of weird and shit, and it didn't really make sense. But that was, of course, like a Rock production or whatever he was doing with the character. Or what was it? Was it Shazam? No, it was Black Adam. My bad, Black Adam. Totally forgot. But David in the comment section at work, my dude also says it's got to be Zod. Okay. Zod up for one. Zod was not a bad villain. He's an interesting villain, and I think the guy that played him in the Henry Cavill story did an amazing job. Which then he came out, of course, in Ezra Miller's The Flash. Did a very well rendition of his character all over again. Of course, like not in a great movie, but still nonetheless still a great villain. Brian in the comment section still says he's got a lot of competition when it comes to a Superman story. A lot of favorites out there. That's 100%. That's what's super wild. Like if Brian, this would be right down your alley when it comes to understanding that this would be a layup for James Gunn. This should be a layup for him and his partner to do a great story. Superman is a hard character to mess up and ruin. You would have to almost do it purposely to make it bad. Because if they don't, then man, dude, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be really rough. Even if you go back and look at it, you look at the Brandon Roth Superman story, and it was good. Like it was good for what it was worth at that time. It was pretty solid. We got Nico in the hot seat. Nico finally made it. Nico, what is up, my dude? It's good
What's
to see
up,
you,
man?
bro.
Shit.
Thank you for jumping. I didn't know if you had time. David told me that you might have been at work, so I was like, well, let me shoot him an invite just in case if he's got a little free time. I saw you guys the other day on the show, and I was like, man, I haven't had Nico on in a bit. It's good to have you, man.
Oh, thank you. No, dude. You know the way it is. I'm always free on Sundays, but I didn't know if you had anybody or not, because for like the past 2 or 3 weeks, you've had Brian with you.
Brian made it back in. And
David
stuff.
jumped on the last time, stuff like that. So, you know, I don't like to bother you. So I was like, okay, well, if he sends me an invite, great. Right now, I'm not even gonna lie, dude. I'm actually washing clothes right now, and I just finished washing the dishes, helping my girl out. And I saw my text message, and David's like, yo, man, you need to help Chris out. I'm like, shit, let me jump
he
in.
needs to. You're like, Chris is dying, man. He's dying.
He's by himself. He's solo.
I don't know. I've been on here for, I guess, like 20 minutes already. Brian got to jump in a little bit. He was at work. He wanted to jump in because he saw us talking about James Gunn's DC universe with Superman coming out already. Well, at least the story of them finishing filming, and he wanted to come in. Of course, he had some stuff to say, and I think I've been doing all right. Not too bad for a solo show. I had like a lineup of stuff. If you could see all the little tabs I got on top of my screen, I have a pretty good lineup of things that I wanted to kind of like talk about, I guess, you know what I mean? Like just to bring up. I mean, I don't think I was going to be able to carry like a regular 2-hour show, but you know, I would have been able to do it.
Man. And then at the same time, I'm like, you know what? This is perfect. It's one of those dramatic entrances I haven't been on
True.
for 2 weeks.
I need to make like a GIF with like fireworks when you guys come on, like wrestling.
I know what I mean? Like I need my own intro. I need pyro. Come on, bro.
That'd be so fucking funny. So right now what we're talking about, of course, is me and Brian had talked about this several weeks ago, and it was about San Diego Comic-Con. Marvel came in and brought a tremendous amount of stuff when it came to what they were prepping and showing and all that stuff. And DC came in and they had very little. They had the logo, which is the new logo that's based off of like the older Justice Society style Justice League, kind of like the Silver Age logo for the studio, the cinematic universe for them. And we were talking about that they released a trailer for, I don't know, Creature Commandos or whatever, something that no one really cares about, but James Gunn was really adamant about it. So yeah, we were just talking about that, and in conversation, I brought up the idea of we're going to get a Superman story nonetheless. And first off, like, do we think that James Gunn is going to be bringing the full of hope, good fashion, old school storytelling, Christopher Reeve style Superman story? Or do we think he's going to go a little bit more into the darker tone with the more like almost closer to the rated R, very Suicide Squad-ish, very like dry jokes and stuff like that? Do we think they're going to bring that to Superman? And if you as a person would like to see one or the other, and who do you think would be a great villain to start the Superman universe with? So those are our two questions.
All right. So first off, in my personal opinion, if you're going the old classic, as we can all tell in the suit, keep it simple. Don't take it too far. Like, build up the anticipation, build up to something that's going to lead to something amazing. You know, because if you swing for the fences and you fuck this up, bro, it's just going to end bad for you. You know,
true.
You know, and it's true. If you don't if you don't deliver on this fucking Superman and you're already hyping the shit out of it, just keep it simple, build up a nice storyline, try and connect a few fucking dots for once. Golly, like these guys have no fucking universe. Everybody's in their own fucking shit. Like, this Superman's probably not even the same universe as the Joker and that Harley Quinn with Lady Gaga. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, those have already been told that they've already been removed from the universe. It's like on standalone. It doesn't even really have like a Batman or anything in that universe to mess with.
You see, and these are things that, like, you know, like they could portray, like, you know, like in the background, give us a few little Easter eggs, at least acknowledging that they are in the same universe or in the same timeline, or, you know, something along that line. Just give us little Easter eggs here and there, like little hints, you know. But I don't know, man. Like, I seriously think they're safe bet is just giving us something short, something sweet, keep it basic, keep it simple, and a villain that's not going to be like over the top, because if you give us over the top and it's like something super fucking outrageous, like if you give us a fucking Doomsday, and it's like, well, like I would rather watch Doomsday knock the shit out of fucking Superman and fucking possibly kill him later on in the future. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Just give us something quick and simple. Did you see Deadpool and Wolverine?
Yes, I did.
Okay, their villain, the storyline was not the best. Action nonstop, bro. Nonstop action throughout the entire fucking film. It was a great film. The first fucking 5 minutes, the credit scenes to that shit was outrageous. Like that probably set the tone for the whole fucking movie. That the first 5 minutes was my favorite part of the whole fucking movie, to be honest with you.
You see, that's because I wasn't really a big fan of the first 5 because of the CG. But the dance, I think, was funny because, like you said, it really lays the tone out as to what we're going to expect for the whole film.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, it's showing you're literally not going to get like a regular movie. It's a dude dancing to NSYNC, killing a bunch of dudes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was fantastic in the sense of setting the pace.
But when going back to this whole Superman thing, man, like I just keep it simple. Don't do too much to it. I would like for it to slowly build up and lead to something amazing, and if you, like I said, you swing for the fences too early and you fucking fail, it's not going to be pretty for the future. The dark side of it, I don't think it's going to happen. Not with this particular Superman.
Okay.
If it does, I could see it leading on in the future, depending on who the villain is, where he needs to fucking unleash another side of himself, a side that we haven't seen yet. You know what I'm saying? So kind of like what I'm saying, slowly building up to something that's going to be fucking amazing.
Yeah, very true.
Don't give us something that's fucking ruthless and fucking out of the ordinary Superman. And then when a huge villain comes in, we're not going to get a huge shocker. Like, oh my God, like, it's the same fucking shit we've seen already. Like, so like, give us the humble little superhero that we're used to. The dude's basically a fucking kiss ass, to be honest with you. He's kind of like the Captain America version of DC. Like, the guys do no wrong, basically,
Yeah.
So if you give us a villain later on in the future and he unleashes a fucking whole nother level of rage that we're not used to, it's going to be good, because it's going to show like, holy crap, he's got to unlock this next potential or this next level to defeat this fucking guy, and it sets a bar.
Okay, so with that, we asked the question of having like a villain or something like that, which you're kind of like slightly touching base on, right? David says maybe we get Cyborg Superman with a time jump. That would be interesting. Cyborg Superman does play a bigger role when it comes to the death of Superman. So that's like an interesting character, but that comes a little bit later. But what he does go inside with, which is what John says, John later on says, in the question literally right afterwards, I'd like to see a newer villain, maybe seeing someone like Metallo or Brainiac. Now, Metallo, if I'm not mistaken, plays very close to the Cyborg Superman character. I think in some way they're either the same guy or like a different iteration of him, like an older version of Metallo. But I know that the Cyborg Superman character comes from that type of villain. So Metallo would be an actual really good villain. Him, or of course, like General Zod, in my opinion, or even
I wouldn't do the Zod thing. Don't get me wrong. If they reintroduce Zod, people kind of already are familiar with this character and what he's about because of the previous movies. So we're not going to be completely lost. And especially the normies, the people who don't really read the comics, they're going to be like, oh, okay, we kind of already know who Zod is and what he's about. So it's not like they're going to be completely lost and they're going to be introduced to somebody completely new.
But what about like a Metallo? Like a Metallo is a character who was, I think, like some type of crook or some type of dude who just didn't like Superman. Then he went through like a cyborg metamorphosis through some doctor who made his power source kryptonite. So he always has a kryptonite crystal with him. And he just comes around, he beats the shit out of Superman for no reason, just based on just not liking him or whatnot. But he is like this kind of like antithesis. He's just metal and has kryptonite in his chest. So it's very, very difficult for him to work with.
That comic that just came out, did he mean to put Lobo?
No,
Or
I hit it by accident. He put
oh,
the Batman and Joker will have Elseworld logos. But yeah, Lobo's also an interesting character too, which is his name has been dropped in several months when it came to Jason Momoa's place in the overarching story coming back with James Gunn as possibly playing Lobo.
okay.
So that's not far fetched either.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it real with you, man.
Yeah.
If they introduce Lobo, I'm sorry, but Lobo has to be the DC version of fucking Deadpool.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
Lobo needs a standalone fucking movie, and it has to be fucking rated R. If it's not rated R, you're doing him no justice.
Yeah,
You know?
but don't you think like Lobo's character is very much like if you were gonna do fuck, I don't know. What was that one character in like X Force that looked like a glitch? I forgot his name, but he was like a weird like in X Force. I forgot his fucking name. I can't forget. I can't believe it. Um Marvel, watch Marvel glitch character. See if it pops up. It's gonna be somewhere like an X Force, but there was like this character that just looks very cartoony, and it doesn't. His character doesn't make sense. He's like the last of his kind in the universe, but yeah, like it would be like if you gave that type of character. It has some format of like formality in the sense of people knowing who they might be, but like how many people really know Lobo enough to give him his own story?
No, nobody really knows the guy, but if you start teasing it or you start mentioning it, people will do their research. But you got to do it soon. Like bring it up in a current movie so they could be like kind of drop his name in there so people can be like, who the fuck are they talking about? Who is that guy? Like, you know.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like this guy, like Warlock. Yeah, this guy. This guy was from the Marvel universe, and he was in certain comics. But like, of course, like a lot of people do know him in the comic books, but you got to be like really deep cuts into the comics to really understand who his character is. And
Yeah.
I feel like Lobo kind of like falls in the same factor. Like if you were to ask a normal person who barely knows DC how much they know about Lobo,
Yeah,
they're gonna
they're
be
gonna be
like,
lost.
yeah, they're gonna kind of be like, that's the guy on the motorcycle with the
But
chains
but
and the white
but
skin.
if you give him look, if you tell people and you simplify it and you're like, look, man, Lobo is basically the equivalency of Deadpool, but in the DC universe, it's just that he's from fucking space.
Yes.
You know. So if you were to combine it, you would say it's Guardians of the Galaxy with fucking Deadpool mixed together, and that's basically you get Lobo.
Yeah, you
In a
get
sense,
Lobo, and he's just as strong as Superman.
you know.
Like he's literally as strong, if not stronger, than a
But
full blown Kryptonian.
you know, but I would say give it a shot or just tease it or drop a few Easter eggs, you know, or even just name drop the shit out of them. People are gonna wonder who the fuck are they talking about, and you know, little by little, hopefully, it kind of builds up, and maybe people might want to fucking look into it, you know, and maybe the character might grow a little bit on people.
True.
But it's true though, like a lot of people, a bunch of normies aren't gonna know who fucking Lobo is, but that is one character I would love to fucking see.
I mean, King Yeti came in and just said probably one of the most interesting characters, I think. What about Bizarro?
Oh yeah, Bizarro would be fucking amazing as well.
Yeah, I kind of feel like Bizarro's character is pretty simple. I mean, in the sense of like why you would have him. You know, you introduce Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor hates Superman. So what does he want to do? He wants to take some of his DNA, sees his blood on the battlefield or somewhere, like he might have hurt himself doing something, and he tries to clone him, and then he ends up getting like this weird version of him, which was kind of like the casual story. Later on, you end up finding there's like a bizarre world, but
yeah,
like
the only thing is I don't like it when you give us a fucking movie and you kill off a character right away. Like you don't give them a second chance of coming back later on. Like
True.
I fucking hate that. You know, because you end their arc there. You end their fucking story, and there's no possibility of them ever coming back. So if he fights Bizarro, for it to end somehow where there's a possibility that they might clash later on, you know, in the future.
Yeah, like he'd have to be captured or like put down enough that the government can, I don't know, put him in a cell or whatever they do in the DC comic books. And then later on we have this like overarching like an Infinity Crisis or Crisis Infinity where all of these characters kind of like find their way back, or the Legion of Doom, or something that they can recycle, because I think that's one of the worst traits in the Marvel universe is they have such good villain ideas and then they give them such bad stories.
Yes.
So like you look at someone like Hela, we all assume she's dead because she fought what's his face Surtur at the end of Ragnarok. Like that's a great character. What was it? Gore the God Butcher, for fuck's sakes. Like Gore
they
the God
fucked that character up really bad.
Jeez, man. I think a little while ago in the comment section, David had put the High Revolutionary. The High Revolutionary was such a good fucking character. Like they made me hate someone, and Marvel hasn't done that in a long time to get me riled up. And I thought that guy was like a shithead. Like I didn't think he was a shit character. I thought he was such a jerk to everybody that I was like, I hope they beat him. But like I mean, they kind of made it seem like he's dead. I know that in if I'm not mistaken, there is some type of like alternate ending where like he's like in a jail cell in nowhere with the rest of the Guardians, which means he's alive in some way, which I was like, okay, but again, that's a very Star Warsy kind of thing to do. Yeah. Which is like they don't give enough story, and then later on they write a book and they're like, well, if you buy this book and you don't read it at Barnes and Nobles for free, you'll know the truth behind of what really happened. It's like, bitch, like just tell us in the movie. That's what we pay money for.
Like okay, so when they gave us the first appearance, or I guess leading to fucking Doomsday, dude, I was so fucking pissed at that.
Yeah.
When they gave that ugly fucking cheap ass Wish Temu fucking Doomsday. Yeah, bro. Like dude, it pissed me off. I was like, what kind of bullshit is this? Like,
and it wasn't a bad idea for a character. I think it was bad placement. Like they just threw him in like it was like a Saturday morning cartoon villain when he's supposed to be way bigger.
Like those are things that I don't like. Like, like okay, his character, the way he looked, horrible, fucking horrible. Okay, and then on top of that, the way they just threw him in there and just defeated him like nothing. I was like, wow, dude, like you just fucked up one of your really good characters here. Yeah. You made him look like shit. Yeah. Like it was fucking bad.
That was the whole thing with Snyder. Like he has such good ideas, but when he has bad ideas, like they're fucking bad. Like he literally goes and combines General Zod, Bizarro, and Doomsday into one character. And that's where we get that amalgamation, because remember, it was General Zod's body. He was a genetically altered person in a alien confined area, which was the spaceship of Superman or whatever. And then he ends up coming out, and you could hit him, and every time you hit him with something, he like adapts, which is Doomsday. It's literally Doomsday's power. I feel like that could have been an easy trilogy, because you would have the death of Superman, which in history, which of course Zack Snyder just pissed on, was one of the biggest, if not the biggest thing that happened in DC Universe history, which is the death of Superman. Literally made national news. It was the Hail Hydra moment for Captain America, like all of that stuff. It was so important and detrimental for the history of comic books that this guy just overlooked it in such a meaningless way.
Yeah, but it's like you said, I mean, in a meaningless way, in a sense, like, okay, they gave us a few movies and then they kill him off right away. Like, wow, like really, this is the way you're gonna introduce the number one fucking hero? Like, you're just gonna kill him off like that? Like, and then, oh, you know what? We need him. Let's bring him back real quick. Like, I don't know. I didn't like that shit.
Yeah, and what's crazy too is King Yeti brings up a really good point too. In the comic books, Bizarro ends up becoming an anti-hero. He ends up partnering up with Red Hood. With Red Hood, Jason Todd, and they make a team called like the Outsiders or the Outlanders or something like that. And they become like literally like best fucking friends, dude. It is he's literally like their version of Hulk or their version of the Thing, or however you want to put it, in the sense of like an anti-hero group. And he does really, really good in that story. So you can have like this badass like Pizarro at the very beginning of the Superman story being this like really crazy character, and then later on getting like a redemption story where he like sacrifices himself, and you end up feeling like, oh man, he kills himself and you don't want him to die, and then he comes back because he's Bizarro, you know what I mean? Like, so then you just have to continue to kind of work with him like a Solomon Grundy kind of dumb guy.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Okay, if they were to make another Justice League type movie, would you say bring in the Lantern or not?
I mean, if it's a Justice League movie, yeah. But I wouldn't want him to be like a founding member. I would want him to be like a person that comes in.
Okay, sorry. But the reason I say that is if you were to bring in the Green Lantern and you show like a flashback or you show a previous like, oh, we just arrested this galactic, bounty hunter or something. That's how you can introduce Lobo, and he could throw an F-bomb here, because let's be honest, like in the movies, I think they charge you for every F-bomb. You can only use 1 or 2 per fucking.
They're limited on how many they can use per PG movie to R-rated.
Exactly. So if they were to show him in the background getting arrested, like, who the hell is that guy? And he's fucking fighting off so many fucking officers, and they're like, this guy's fucking escaped several times, like, and it just kind of, people are gonna be like, who the fuck is that? And then that's how you introduce one character. And
you're talking about introducing like the Lantern Corps with that, right?
Yeah, basically. So you do the Lantern, and then you show Lobo in the background, like getting arrested or fucking taking on several Lanterns by himself, and they're like, who the fuck is that nut? Like, and be like, oh, don't worry about him. He's escaped several times. Like,
true that. Brian in the comic section says Doomsday should have been the villain in the Justice League. 100%. 100%. He should have been the main villain. What is it? League Junior and Darkseid. I think Darkseid was very underutilized. Steppenwolf sucked. Like, there was a lot of things they could have done with his comic book origin story. Yeah, dude. I mean, he has a great origin story, but like going back to what Nico was saying about them introducing, like with Lobo, what about like Mongol? Like, you have Mongol, which is this like very Hulk-like Darkseid character from space. He runs this place kind of very similar to Darkseid. That's like a war world, which is a gladiatorial world that later on Superman goes to and tries to like help free all the people that are part of it. But Mongol, his girlfriend or wife or whatever it was introduced in Suicide Squad as that character that grabs onto the helicopter in the beginning of the movie. It's like orange skinned and very weird looking. But that character, very Hulk-like, you could literally bring him in and foreshadow like, but that would be like the Trinity movie, right? Because you can bring him in as a Superman villain, and then you automatically understand that Superman's archetype for villains are usually like the big baddies that are like super strong, right? So they're just like boxing each other, very Hulk-like, in a very like a Homelander versus, I don't know, like the Hulk or whatever. Small dude versus big dude punching each other, flying through buildings. I don't want to say it's going to be like the Zod fight, but then that's the other thing. It's going to mirror that a lot. So like, what if you get like a psychological villain when it comes to Superman for the first Brainiac? I mean, Brainiac's awesome, but Brainiac, like we've said before, is like,
isn't Superman one of his weaknesses? Isn't it magic?
Magic. Yeah, very much is magic and kryptonite. You see, but that's hard because then you're going to start to think of magic characters, and he doesn't really play well with magic characters. Like, even when they introduced Shazam in the Justice League, they had a run-in with Superman and Black Adam, and Shazam had to save Black Adam, or had to save Superman in most of the fights because he just couldn't hang with Black Adam because he's all magic. And then the other thing, too, it's crazy because in one of the comic books, if I'm not mistaken, you guys can correct me if you guys are comic gods, but Kingdom Come, the comic book, at the very end, when the human that is, I forgot his name, but he's with the Spectre, which is the embodiment of God in the universe. He has to make a choice if he whether wants to destroy the universe or not. And at the very end, you know how in Justice it's like Superman versus the Batman crew? Okay. Well, it's very much that, where it's Superman's crew, which is like the high above the normal higher moral stature group, versus Magus, which is like this, I think it's Magus, which is this weird other Superman-esque character that raised a bunch of like the boys style heroes, like very Injustice Superman. So it was like a Superman versus Superman thing. And this guy and that group ends up bringing Shazam as their version to fight Superman. So in the end, it's just Shazam beating the fuck out of Superman in a bunch of different ways. And literally, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's cool as fuck to see Billy Batson beating the fuck out of Superman, because you don't expect that, because Billy Batson looks up to Superman as a hero. But in this story, Billy Batson was his own Superman. And he has to fight like the old Superman with the white hair on the side and like, you know, the dope Superman. You know what I mean? So like, and he's there, and Superman just kind of comes to this thing where he's like, I don't want to fight you. We need to stop. And in the end, like I said, the human guy is watching this kind of all transpire, and the Spectre's like, oh, well, it's all up to you, dude. Like, do you want this universe to end? While he's like watching all the people fight in slow-mo. And the guy's like, I don't want it to end, man. You got to give him a chance. Very Watchmen esque version of the end of the fight scene. So, having like a magic villain, I think probably the Shazam crew villain and rogue gallery would be really good, or the Constantine, but Superman really doesn't fuck around with people like that too much. That's why. So literally he just gets a lot of like the heavy hitter cosmic characters, which like Lobo, Bizarro, what is his, I can't even fucking remember his name. I just said it a little while ago.
Give me a second, man.
Go for it. But yeah, it's an interesting take. I wonder where they're gonna take this character. I know that, of course, like even in this picture that we have in the background for the release date in the Superman promo, we do have like this weird thing in the background that a lot of people believe it's the spaceship for the Authority. And of course, we heard the Authority was going to be this big thing that James Gunn was going to bring in, which is another group of anti-heroes. It's very much like the Suicide Squad slash Justice League slash like the Boys kind of thing. So something interesting that we could look forward to. And the drop of the question is, who would you be excited to see face off against Superman in the first film that James Gunn in the DC universe is going to be bringing in? Let us know who you think. It could be anyone across the board. If you want him to fight Cheetah, if you want him to fight fucking I don't know, Robin, just let us know in the comment section. You guys are the best.
Fucking Cheetah.
Yeah, I was to say, dude, because that's like, I don't know. People come up with some crazy ideas, man. Michael and Doomsday, or Michael and Constantine was crazy just to think about them fighting Superman. John says right now, Goku. Yeah, I let him fight Goku. Vegeta, I heard he had a chance against Vegeta too, right? Perhaps introducing the different types of kryptonite, red, green, black, and the pink one too for the new Superman movie. That'd be interesting. Do you think it's something that we'd have to like hold off so that we can build into it like the lure? Or do you think it would be that they would have enough time to break it down? Like maybe like real quick, like, oh, well, here's some kryptonite and it comes in many different flavors. Or would you want them to kind of like break it down as to what each one of them do? Because if I'm not mistaken, like each one of the Superman kryptonites do something very, very different. In fact, when the Batman Who Laughs came in, and he tricked his version of Superman to kill John and Lois, I think he used like one of the crystals. And I want to say it was like the red one or purple one. What's up, Miguel? Good to see you, my man. Good to see you. Good to see you. Great video, dude, about your son in the military and stuff, man. I really like that, man. That was a great video. He had posted up. He makes TikTok videos. Very, very funny guy. And he had made like a really, really like a heartfelt story about him and his wife dealing with his son going off into the military and all this stuff. It was great. But yeah, man, great video. But yeah, so Mike and everybody else that just jumped in, who would you like to see as the first villain that Superman faces off in the 2025 rendition of Superman? If you guys have it, let us know in the comment section. Goku gets tanked, bro. Goku gets tanked. What do you think? Have you always, I mean, you and Brian argue about this almost every week.
Yeah.
Are you still on the same side? You think Goku's got it, dude?
You know what? I'm gonna go Goku, but just the fact that I fucking hate DC. So just to despise the DC fans, yeah, I would go Goku.
Okay, you're the writer of this comic book for today. You're like, today, Goku gets it. Yeah. Elizabeth says, I hope this does something for the DC love action, because it doesn't. They need to just give it up, in my opinion, because honestly, their animated movies are so much better. 100%. 100%.
We've had that discussion. Their animations are fucking outrageous. I love their animation. Their live action's fucking horrible. It's trash. I don't see how the fuck they can't transition whatever the hell they did in animation and just transfer it to fucking. I don't give a shit if it's the same fucking movie. Just give me it in live action. Like I want to see that. You know, if you want to change a few things here, it's not a problem. But how the fuck can you nail it on one and then just fucking tank on the other? Like, come on, dude.
And Miguel in the comment section comes in and says he thinks that Goku's got it also. I'll let you guys argue with Brian about this because Brian's like Superman kills Goku in like one punch. And I'm like, I mean, I get it. But then again, it's like I could say the same thing about One Punch Man. Like One Punch Man can come in and tank probably everybody with like a fart. You know what I mean? Like he just because that's the way they write him. And I've told Brian, I have this weird conspiracy that like the animations, of course, each anime makes their main characters super strong, but they're all based on other characters' strength. They all have to one up the other comic, the other manga. Yeah. So you look at Goku. Goku's got to be stronger than Luffy. Luffy's got to be stronger than Goku. Goku's got to be stronger than Yu Yu Hakusho. You know what I mean? Like it's always like. And then One Punch came out and he just like shit on the bed, dude. Like he just Amber Hearded everybody's stuff. He just made him like abnormally strong for no reason. If Goku destroys the sun, Superman is screwed if it's on Earth. But he would need to be able to get to the sun before Superman does. Well, he has instant transmission, but Superman just
give Goku a shitload of fucking Setsu beans and fucking like just. Dude,
is this
I don't
with
know,
prep?
Man.
Is this with prep time? Because with prep time, Batman flanks them all, dude. I fucking hate that argument too. Oh my god, it's the worst, bro.
That every single time, the prep time, every
prep time, dude.
Conversation.
I don't even know what that means, dude. I don't even know what prep time means,
dude.
Like, that just means lazy.
If you know you're gonna fight that fucking person, like okay, I'm gonna do my research. Fuck Superman. I'm gonna fucking kick his ass with a fucking kryptonite dodo because that's what his weakness is and shove it up his ass. Like, dude, that's you have time to think of how and what you're gonna do to strategize against that person.
Miguel's wrong. Yeah. Oh, my bad, Miguel. You're not that. Oh, Miguel. Yeah, that's I get you. So Miguel says Superman and Red Hulk. So what? Okay, so that's a really good question, right? The Hulk. I mean, the Red Hulk is one. But the Hulk in general, right? Because there's no one stronger than the Green Hulk. I mean, the dude is like the antithesis of, or the machine of the one below all, right? Versus Superman. What do you think? You have to remember that later on, there in the future of the Marvel Universe, there is a picture of the Hulk clotheslining Earth.
So the planet
clotheslining Earth, like if he's Hacksaw Jim Duggan in the WWE. like you have to understand this.
The planet destroying fucking Hulk, like
clothesline Earth. I love this fucking. I spelled Earth wrong, but I love that picture. Where is it? It's like in the future. It's like one of my favorite fucking pictures. I gotta find it, but yeah. What do you think about this?
Look, I'm not gonna lie, man. When it comes to that, I still damn, dude, that's a fucking badass picture right there.
They're all right.
Yeah,
I mean, the Hulk's he's the animal, man. What is it? I can't remember the name of it, but there's a scene with the Hulk where he clotheslines the planet. Let me see. I don't know. If not, I'll find it, but I'll bring it up later. But what do you think? Superman versus the Hulk?
Superman's got it all the way, bro.
What? Well, yeah. Why? Why would you assume this?
Like, I'm a huge Hulk fan, bro. I fucking love the Hulk. Like, my personal favorite is Planet Hulk. I love the
World War Hulk.
Yeah, because the reason being is that I love the movie Gladiator, so it kind of like combines
it literally goes with it.
Yeah, it kind of like combining both worlds. I love the movie Gladiator. I love the Hulk.
There it is.
And then,
there it is. Just clothesline the planet Earth. Yeah, that's the Hulk in the
That's
future.
like straight up one of those Superman punches from MMA, like just blue.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. He's just floating. What happened was in this comic book, the Hulk is the like Galactus of that world, or that it's the future of the 616. And in that, there's like a group of aliens who live on it, and apparently, like one of them makes a noise loud enough, which is like just talks, and the Hulk hears it and just goes and clotheslines it. So all of that like pink and yellow and all that coloring were all like planets, like cities. It's the funniest fucking image I've ever seen in my whole life, but the dopest picture I've ever seen.
I seriously, I feel like Superman could probably just fly right through his fucking chest, bro. That or fucking just laser beam the shit out of his fucking neck or something. Or
but you just
it's got to be something.
You have
outrageous.
to remember.
But coming down to what I said, he would literally have to unleash some type of fucking rage that we've never seen in Superman ever.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, it takes him a little bit to warm up. And the Hulk, you just gotta have the wrong cologne on, and he's on fire, bro. Like, he thinks you're wearing too much blue, or he thinks he doesn't like your red cape. Like, bro, you're toast, dude. You're just cooked. You're cooked. He just doesn't like you. Remember, Superman, it takes a minute for him to want to kill you. The Hulk is just pure unadulterated rage. You know what I mean? Just like he needs supervision all the time. I mean, he needs a lullaby just to get him to hold his erection down.
Dude, fucking Elizabeth, look what she puts. Fuck about Bulma.
Yeah, he said, Elizabeth says, Bulma is at least smart as Batman, and she'd crypto him extra fast. True. I feel like Bulma would have to be like a part of this, right? Because she'd have to be like the smarts. The smarts in the character. I mean, Chi-Chi, no, Chi-Chi can't be in there.
Yeah, but that's
Broly
the thing, though,
versus the Hulk. I think Broly versus the Hulk would be a way better story.
Oh yeah,
because Broly's like, you're too green. That's my color or whatever, and they just start fucking punching, bro. They just get punch drunk so fast.
That would be a good fight right there.
Yeah, Broly versus the Hulk. I'm about that life. Definitely about that life. What do we got in the comment section? Let's go back. Yeah. Oh, Miguel, I totally. I'm sorry. I thought Miguel was another friend of mine who goes by the same name that made a video earlier this week. I'll have to share that later. But sorry, buddy. You're one of David's homies, man. I remember I met you at the Comic-Con too, bro. Met you at UCX. John says, in my opinion, the Justice League movie Doom, where the heroes were separated by their weaknesses, except for Batman. This would be a good live action movie. Yeah. Which one was that one? I can't remember. I know it was an animated film, right? Yeah, I want to say he's talking about Justice League Doom. He's talking about this story. Oh, okay, so that was based off of the story. What's it called? The Tower of Babel. Do you remember that comic book line for Batman?
No.
That was where Batman had a contingency plan for everyone in the Justice League.
Oh, for everyone in the Justice League. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
And then someone steals that. And I forgot if it was like Eo Barton or someone steals that information and starts taking out all the Justice League members. And Batman's like, I know what's wrong. Someone stole my plans to kill all of my friends that I made. He's like, what a dick, dude. But yeah, he's absolutely correct. Like, why wouldn't you have a contingency plan for the 5 strongest people on the planet? You know what I mean? You're fighting with people that have brain altering problems and all that stuff. You see Brian in the comment section, Superman greater than Goku. Superman versus Galactus is an interesting concept. Because there is a Superman 1 million story where he becomes like the greatest version of himself in the multiverse. But like him as like a Herald of Galactus would be interesting. You know what I mean? Marvel Nemesis series, like the video game, dude. That was such a cool video game. What's up, Vince, man? I saw you earlier in the comments coming in. That was dope, man. Vegeta is still a bum, by the way. That's what Brian came in to say. That's funny as hell, man.
You need to get your ass to work. That's what you need to do.
He's like, you need to go to work. Watching podcasts during your hour, man. Goddamn. Vince says Superman can do where Drax dead off Thanos. Oh, where he fights. Oh, that would be cool. Well, you know what? There is a comic book based on the DC and Marvel universe, kind of like fucking around and doing stuff. It's pretty interesting. So yeah, you guys should check that out. But yeah, DC Superman kind of coming up July 11th. Is what we're looking at in the sense of I don't know where I left it. Yeah, here it is. July 11th next year, literally on the dot when this movie should be popping off. I'm really excited. It would be interesting though. Trolling you is my side gig. I like that.
You might just kick them from here, bro. Just kick them.
No. It's funnier this way.
Just
Superman versus Captain Marvel.
And then to make it worse, David's agreeing with him.
He's right though. I like that Vince comes in and goes, Superman versus Captain Marvel. Easy, bro. Easy. Superman. No cap.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
The reason, because he's a short king, Liz. He's a short king. Everybody loves him because he's short. Yeah, but it's just that he's short. That's about it. That's about it. He's just short. We like our short kings. That's all we do.
He's like the Lord Farquaad of Dragon Ball.
You see, now you're bringing hate. Nobody likes that guy. Yeah, no, that's a really bad example.
No, that would actually be like
coolest. I'll never forget. I think me and Brian talked this a long time ago. He's like the coolest picture or animated part for Vegeta in all of Dragon Ball Z. A lot of people will say it's when he's fighting Boo and he screams and it's like the big explosion. Nah, okay, that's not
that.
It.
Or when they slap the shit out of Boma or something, and he fucking
There's that one. That one's cool. And then the part where he blows up the crowd and during the Meijin saga. Those are three. Yeah. My favorite animated scene of his is when he's holding right after that scene when he blows up the crowd and Vegeta and Goku and him are fighting, and he's holding Goku from the cliffside. And Goku's feet are dangling farther than the cliff, and he's standing on the cliff, and it shows that Vegeta is like 2.5 feet shorter than fucking, because there's no way he's gonna hold him by the throat standing, because Goku would just have to stand up, and Vegeta would have to float. Like, I was just like, well, thank God that cliff was there. He was gonna have him stand on a rock or some shit. You gotta give him some high heels in that thing. That was like the fucking funniest. I'll find that shit right now, man. That was like one of the funniest things. Vegeta.
You see, you lost them beaver nuggets. You ain't gonna get that shit now.
Vegeta holding Goku hand. No, we're not doing fan fiction today, guys. Where is it, dude? It's just amazing.
Oh yeah, amazing. Fucking Frieza, fucking wanting to get the Dragon Balls just to like grow like a couple of centimeters or something.
Yeah, dude, he's like, I want to be 4 inches taller, Goku or whatever. Fucking dude, man. Oh man, I'm not gonna find it because what is it? They're gonna save this dude. They're gonna save Vegeta. They don't want me to talk about it in the world. Google's gonna hold it down. But it's like during this scene, it's like it's amazing Vegeta scene. He's literally holding him over the cliff. Over cliff. I don't think it's gonna work, but yeah, look, there it is. Look at that fucking 2 feet tall reach, bitch. Look at that shit. They were gonna have him stand on rocks with it. You know what I mean? It's either he stands here and Goku hangs, or there was gonna be like a little rock here, and he was gonna have to stand on it. They're not gonna make my short king stand on a little ladder, bro. Not gonna do that to my boy. That should be your background, Brian, right there. That should be your background when Brian calls or when Nico calls you. It's just to show how short he is, dude. Oh man, that's some dope shit. I got some beaver nuggets for you. I don't know. That sounds kind of crazy to hear from another man just scream out. It's a beaver nuggets. What is it? Vegeta's. I will go back. I gotta read some of these. All Might versus Superman. I saw a really good one that was All Might versus Homelander. That was really good. It was like a fan film. Vegeta is always. Oh, speaking of that, the ending of My Hero Academia, the last manga just came out and it was dumb. But okay, we'll return. Vegeta is always the bridesmaid and never the bride. I like it. That's fucking funny. Brian, you're not gonna get any beaver nuggets now. I'm Frieza's guy, and he's shorter than all of. Oh yeah, most deaf. But he is so much taller in his mind, and he pursues that all the time, and he projects that all the time. Brian, I got some beaver nuggets for y'all.
Dude, I'm sorry, but even if Frieza goes like gold or whatever, like it doesn't, to me, it doesn't make a big difference. The one that I thought looked fucking awesome, and I think should have been his evolution or like his fucking transformation, would have been cooler.
Cooler?
Yeah.
that the guy that just keeps punching people in the dick? I think he just keeps punching Vegeta in the dick. If I'm not mistaken.
DBZ cooler.
Yeah, he just grabs by Vegeta by the fucking leg and punches him in the dick. If I'm not mistaken, it's like his best thing. Coolers in canon though? I don't know, man. It's a lot cooler than canon. Didn't fucking. But I can see where Frieza's the dope guy, dude. You know what I mean? Like that dude. I'll never
Johnny
forget.
Cage.
I'll never forget Johnny Cage. I'll never forget that when they brought him back for Resurrection. Is that what the AF or what was the name of that movie? And he goes off and puts up that it's when he oh yeah, that's right. So Nico, right, and Brian, if you're out there, if you can hear me, it's when he goes gold for the first time. It was in that film. What was it? Resurrection AF, right? In that film, he's like monologuing, right? Brian's like, we don't talk about that film. No, it's not bad. He's monologuing about how hard he trains to reach that level in 14 days. Like, do you remember that? He's like, it took me 14 days to reach this level, and now I'm trying. I was like, 14 days? What if this mother trained a whole fucking year, dude? Like, this guy would be dope as shit. I think that's the problem with Frieza is he just doesn't take the training like Goku and Vegeta do. He just assumes he's that strong. But man, dude, that was a fuck. I'll never forget that shit. I thought that was the funniest shit, man. Frieza, my guy, man. But yeah, way off subject. We're into Dragon Ball Z for some awkward reason.
I like your impression though. You did a pretty good impression,
dude. Alex, my friend Sharpie Muscles, does an amazing Frieza. I've always wanted to do Nappa. Nappa's, I think, the fucking funniest character of the whole thing. What if Nappa came back, dude? I think Nappa got shit on. He was dope. So yeah, but yeah. So going on to, we're gonna talk about a little bit of nerd stuff. We're gonna jump right back into. Okay, wait, I gotta read this because the Dragon Ball Z talk in here gets wild as fuck. Elizabeth says, "Cool, it's such a cool figure." Though I have those movie figures. Like, are you talking like cool figure as in a sense like a toy figure or like a political figure? Like, I'm not. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little weird about that. Cool figure. Brian says, until Frieza's black, spent time in the chamber and whooped everyone. Oh yeah, I heard about that. What did they call him? Air Force One Frieza. Yeah, that was dope. Air Force One Frieza, and he beat. What did he like? Didn't he tank fucking Goku and Vegeta at like their respectable god levels, like by punching the stomach or something? I want to say that's what he did, right, Nico?
Look, hold on.
What's Nico? What are you doing?
This is the bad boy that I'm talking about. That's what I think should have been fucking Frieza's.
Yeah. I remember the Cell version of him.
So
yeah, he just looks like Cell and Frieza put together. Oh, he tanks Beerus too. Whoa, that's pretty dope. Yeah, I know. Brian's the one that's got to have to take the lead in like the Dragon Ball talks because I'm like, I stopped before GT, man. You can't talk to me. Gohan's still not as cool as everybody thinks he is, man.
No, man, no. I don't even. I pretend GT doesn't even exist.
It doesn't. It doesn't
exist. Like in my personal opinion, I just forgot about that. Just
the only thing in GT that I liked was just the Super Saiyan 4 levels, the way they looked.
Oh, like the really long fucking.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. Like the red like muscle shirt top, like ape skin with the fur and then the pants. I thought it was cool, man. Superman versus Harry Potter. I don't know, man. Harry Potter's a fucking G, dude. Listens to a lot of South Park Mexican, if you know what I'm talking about. That's fucking crazy, dude. Yeah, Harry Potter's a gangster, bro. You don't want to fuck with that guy. He'll turn Superman's cape into, I don't know, like a meat fucking pack or something. He's crazy as shit. But yeah, going back to our now going into our Marvel discussion. Everybody's gonna go crazy on Dragon Ball Z and all this other stuff if we don't put a stop to this. So yeah, Deadpool had a very, very good start of the week with, I think, breaking 98 million, and now it's up to what do we at? I have it up somewhere.
The first weekend it broke 205 million or billion, or I don't know what the fuck it was.
And 4 hours ago it breaks 800 million globally.
There you go.
800 million globally. If you compare that to all of Phase 4, that's the best movie ever touched since the Infinity War movie. Oh no, maybe Homeward Bound or whatever the fucking Spider-Man movie was. Right? Yeah. So Deadpool did really good. It did really good on the fact of what we had talked about again.
I swear, I just wish the villain was a little bit better.
Dude, Cassandra Nova, I don't think was that bad. She did a great job. The actress did amazing. Me and Brian talked about it week of when we had David on, when he just jumped off of the show, made us feel like we were spoiling the movie way too much. But Cassandra Nova, I think she was a great villain. You know, jumping into this, I thought it was gonna be the stupidest fucking villain ever, and she did pretty good. She did really, really good actually. I kind of hope they would kind of keep her around a little bit. She doesn't seem like that bad of a continuous villain.
Well, yeah, but there really was no fight. Like, she got into Wolverine's head, and basically they used that as a distraction to fucking nail her with the helmet. That's basically what happened.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong.
What happens later on, there's actual no fight scene, like, at all. Because let's be honest, she would have whooped both of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I mean, what did you want from her? Like, she's a telepathic chick against two brawlers. Like, there's really nothing that they could do to this chick, like literally nothing, and she could literally like brain wipe them if she wants to. But for what they did, in the sense of using it more, where they brought in this kind of like awkward social kind of like commentary, where she kind of just doesn't really relate to people too much, almost like if she has like, I don't want to say like an autism, or on the spectrum of not knowing other people's like feelings and not being able to adapt to them. So you have the fire starter guy that lands at her feet, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you now." And he's like, "Wait." She's like, "What?" Like almost like if he was okay with her being like her killing him. And then he's like, "Don't you ever just like listen to people and talk to them?" And then like she has like a realization of something she never had established, which is like she just doesn't listen to people. Like, I thought that was, I mean, that was witty. That was witty. I mean, even the factor of like when she has the helmet and she's like, "Dude, the moment you take this off, I'm gonna kill you guys." Like, and you know she ain't lying. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing about her that like comes off as a traditional villain, because what she thinks she's doing is just exactly what she wants to do, without there being like a overarching, I just want to be the boss character. It's just what she wants to do. That's it.
Okay, so in that family, is the Juggernaut the baby?
No, the Juggernaut was like a stepbrother. He's Charles Xavier's stepbrother. They had like different fathers, I think.
But where does he land in this? Like, he's still younger, right? He's still like the baby, even though he's
he's the younger one in the family. But I mean, if you break it down, Cassandra Nova is the same age as Charles Xavier. She just got beat up inside the womb and kicked out. So she was just like a fetus, and then she just survived in the bushes outside the hospital for a little bit, which I don't understand, because I don't know how they deal with fetuses in the MCU, but that's kind of weird to just throw it outside. But yeah, she did pretty good for herself if you kind of break it down. She looks healthy as shit in that movie. So
I think they took from the Scarlet Witch moment in Strange movie. Okay.
What do you mean? Okay. I need to know. So now
no, I was reading Elizabeth's comment. That's fine.
So it's been 2 weeks since the film came out. Like, if you haven't had the chance to be able to go see it, I understand, and I feel for you. But there are things I would like to talk about. Nico, I haven't had you on the show yet, so I don't know your review, but there's probably things that you want to talk about. And of course, the overarching story as to where it goes from here into the Marvel Universe. For you, Nico, I didn't get to ask you this last week. How did you feel about the Deadpool and Wolverine movie?
I fucking loved it. If I had to rate it 1 out of 10, I would give it an 8. Just the fact because of who the villain was. I was hoping a little bit better, you know. Don't get me wrong, I like the fight scenes, fucking amazing. The storyline, the story behind the whole movie, it was a little half-ass. But action nonstop, just I fucking love that. Like, I just want people to fucking die. I just want action, fucking stabbing, shootings, fucking cussing. Like, these two, fucking amazing. They worked perfect. They worked well together. You know, so I fucking loved it. The chemistry that they both have together, it's great.
I don't know why, man, but like Vince puts up, you know what I think we needed really was a Professor X versus Cassandra fight. And I'm like, okay, that would be funny if you had like the mom laying down, like pregnant, and you just see like a bunch of lights coming out of her stomach.
Oh god.
Like, I would just like bumping around and shit. Like, you get like Like that would be a Deadpool shot, if anything. Just two fetuses beating the fuck out of each other, real like fucking MMA
And then
kind
what?
of shit.
One of them pops out like out of like a face hugger out of Aliens or what?
Yeah,
Like,
pretty much. It just gets kicked out. Like he likes fucking this is Sparta. Poof, and you just see it like just fall on the ground or whatever. That'd be fucking dumb, dude. But it would be such a Ryan Reynolds movie. That's funny as fuck though. And of course, Elizabeth with the cool. So that's a legit Cabbage Patch Kid baby. Yep, that's what Cassandra Nova was. And then her whole thing was like her whole shtick after that was like, I want revenge. So like, yeah, I mean, I could kind of see that in the comics. She was kind of weird. In this, she kind of did a little bit more of an interesting story, but still kind of dumb. I was not too hyped about the story. Like the story was very weak. And again, it almost feels like a fever dream last to where like you can literally write this story as Wolverine was at the party and took a nap and then woke up in this dream world where he did all this stuff and then woke up at the party again and then just continued on. Like that's kind of like what it felt like. Other than that, the cameos were off the chain. The jokes, all the Ryan Reynolds jokes were good. Sometimes a little too much, and like the jokes didn't land as well. But like there was just like sometimes that's like a 10% situation, right? Like really, really tiny where it would like drag on a little too much and then it would come back. But other than that, I had a great fucking time. It was literally a summer blockbuster movie, just a summer fun beat 'em up movie. What are some of your favorite parts in this film, Nico?
That's the thing. I don't want to spoil it for anybody. I know Jay just admitted that he hasn't seen it yet, so I'm kind of like,
oh, okay. Well, Jay hasn't seen it. We won't jump the gun too much, Jay. Yeah.
okay. So look, but basically leaving it to the point where I'm not gonna spoil anything. The cameos were great.
Spoil it.
The cameos were great, but to be honest, there are other characters that I was hoping to see that didn't show up. But the ones who did show up, they nailed it. They did pretty good. The fight scenes with the cameos, I'm gonna say they did okay, but there was a certain one where I'm pretty sure he already knows about this one. But that fellow X-Men where it looks like he's trying to break dance or whatever, it looked kind of stupid.
For which one?
The fellow X-Men where he's fighting alongside with the other guys. When they're trying to get over to Cassandra, like he does this little break
ending fight scene,
yeah, and it looks really, really horrible. Like I know that guy has like dancing background, but that fucking shitty dance breaking pop and lock.
Wait, but you gotta be extremely careful with this because that character throughout history does some stupid ass stuff in every iteration of him everywhere. You look at him in video games, you look at him everywhere. He's the David Copperfield of shit. Like he just does things for no on reason.
It just threw me off. I was like, what the fuck? Like I don't know, man. I didn't see those moves coming out. I was like, you're really gonna try and pull this shit off on this fucking movie? Like, it didn't go well. Like, I don't know. Like, there were certain moves that he fucking did that he really did really good. The special effects look really nice and stuff. But when he did that little breakdancing moves and he knocked out like 3 or 4 guys with it, I was like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. Like, come on.
Yeah, there's some stuff that's kind of wonky. I mean, one of mine was why didn't that Wolverine recognize these people? Like the Hugh Jackman that we have, the loser Wolverine. In his world, like they said what he was and that he was like the worst Wolverine around or whatever the fuck they called him or whatever. But he said that he did something that was bad in his past.
Yeah.
But why is it like he didn't recognize like that character you're talking about if he was a part of the team or any other characters that they might have been talking about? You know what I mean? Like he really didn't raise awareness other than for like Charles Xavier or whatever.
That's really the only one he really acknowledged.
Acknowledges,
right? As soon as he saw the chair, he knew, But
what did you think about some of the old reoccurring cameos that came back to reprise roles and stuff? Like, were you kind of excited? Do you think they did the justice for those characters, or do you think that it was kind of like, eh?
I think the Daywalker was great, bro.
Oh, true.
The slow-mo walk in, fucking dramatic as hell. Like, dude, I just fucking loved it. As soon as he made his entrance, me and my oldest son, we just looked at each other. We're sitting in the theater seats, and it was just one of those where you just look at each other, like, what the fuck, like, you know, like, and it's just one of those like what the fuck moments, like, holy shit, like, you know, because they had already introduced that there's going to be a new character, a new remake of that particular character.
Mhm.
So, you know, like, there was rumors that we heard about, but it wasn't like, oh yeah, like, we weren't sure if they're just teasing and fucking with us, you know. But for it to actually happen, we just kind of like, it's one of those what the fuck moments, like, holy shit, they actually did it. Like,
yeah,
you know,
I think that was really, really dope.
so,
But it just overall, man, like all the cameos didn't disappoint. We even had like a reprisal for like Sabretooth from like the very, very first Sabretooth from the very first X-Men movie. It's so small, like it's not really like a big spoiler. We see him in the trailer and all that stuff. But like even that actor was talking about, I saw like in a interview with him recently, like at a Comic-Con or something. They were asking him about how it was to come back and play that character, and he was like, I'm like at a loss for words. Like I would have never assumed they would call me back 25 years to play this character. You know what I mean? Like it was so nuts, but so cool at the same time because like he kind of like gives homage to the Sabretooth character he played in the original X-Men as being
yeah.
like the limelight of his acting career. You know what I mean?
And it's crazy because it's like you said, like there's certain, it's the void. Like there's whatever the fucking they didn't want, they considered a
there.
loss. You know, it's everything's there. So like, let's just say, for example, like Thor's helmet is just laying there.
Mhm.
The OG Captain America shield just laying there.
Laying
like,
there.
you know, so it's like little things like that. Like I love those Easter eggs. Like my eye was just like everywhere in that fucking movie because you didn't
Yeah.
know what the hell you were gonna miss.
Yeah,
Like, you
yeah.
know,
And not only that, like Ryan Reynolds is such a G when it comes to like all the little Easter eggs and hidden things that he puts in the film that all have super crazy meaning.
yeah.
Like, are you familiar with? Well, they had the Deadpool core, right? And you got to see some very interesting Deadpool characters. Were you familiar with the one that looked like Spider-Man almost, like very futuristic?
With the lights and shit.
Yeah,
What wasn't it like a female version of it or
that's his
it looked like
daughter
a
in the
female.
future.
Yeah.
That's
So
like his daughter in the future. It was very, very cool to see that. I was like, okay, like a Deadpool 2099. What's up? What's up, Chrissy? Good to see you in the comments, man. Good to welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah, that was supposed to be like Deadpool 2099, very like into the future, like carrying on the whole thing. Like that was really, really cool to see her. And then of course we saw like the Rob Liefeld sign. Again, Ryan Reynolds has a tendency. He even brought in fucking Chris Hemsworth to do a scene that was very like ominous to whatever is going to happen in the future of the MCU. Like for them to put that in there and him not get an answer, and then them even at San Diego Comic-Con to go up to him and be like, Chris Hemsworth, what did it feel like to be in that movie? And he's like, I don't know. I didn't even know I was in that movie. Like, you know what I mean? Like, fuck, dude. Like, can you imagine if Ryan Reynolds calls you up and he's like, hey, man, I just need to use you for like 4 seconds, man. You know,
well, that's what he did with Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt, yeah.
Yeah.
And then not only that, he does it with so many people, dude. There's the guy who played Juggernaut. Do you know who that is in the Ryan Reynolds movies? He was the built Ryan Reynolds in Nice Guy.
Oh yeah, Nice Guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the built guy.
One,
yeah, he just brought him back just to play this role. Like he's just calling dudes up. And then the cool thing was, I mean, Brian said it too, and you said it also, like Blade, right? The Daywalker Wesley Snipes. There are so many people that remember them having a feud, like them not liking each other. Like that Blade or that Wesley Snipes and Ryan Reynolds, like
Trinity,
that they did not like each other.
Yeah,
and
Blade Trinity, the third one.
Yeah, from Blade Trinity, right? It just came out with literally Wesley Snipes, coming out and saying, "Yo, that shit was made up, man. We love each other. Like I love that dude. Like we never didn't like each other." And I was like, "Man, that was like the longest like made up feud ever." 20 something years of them not knowing and everybody thinking that they didn't like each other. And literally, like, he talks about Ryan Reynolds calling him and saying, I would really like to bring you back as Blade, right? and Wesley Snipes being like, I really fucking doubt it, dude. Like, just I really doubt it. He's like, I don't know if you know this, but they literally have a Blade movie in the action, and they haven't even asked me for that yet. And lo and behold, he fucking pulled it off. And they were even, dude, even right now in turmoil with what's going on with the Blade movie. Like, they can't find a director. The actor's gone. The fucking cast left. The fucking guy that gets the coffees quit is now working at Peter Piper or whatever. Like, it's all gone to shit, dude. And Blade and fucking this guy Ryan Reynolds literally put a whole like, there's no other Blade but me or whatever in the fucking thing. There'll never be another Blade. Fuck, what deep cuts, dude, to his own company, man. I was flipping balls, dude.
It's not deep cuts. It's just like, hey man, like look how hard it was for me to just get the original. Like, you know, like if you guys can't fucking
look at how hard it was. He just texted him and made it happen, and now it's like the highest grossing R-rated film like ever, dude. Like there's no way that the higher ups in Marvel don't look at this and go like, hey, you know, maybe we've been fucking up. Maybe we've been listening to the wrong people about shit on how to make these movies.
Okay, be honest. Would you prefer seeing a whole nother remake of a new Blade, or would you be cool with fucking the original, the OG?
I'd be cool with it. I think he's older. I think he's too old to do his like stunts. But like in this, I mean, we just saw him right now. He's able to still pull off the look and the vibe and stuff. He can literally be that variation of Blade, because in the original comic books he looked like that. He had like a Shaft persona, you know. He even had the little afro with the little white in his beard, and that was all in the comic book. So right now, preferably the Blade character is of age. Wesley Snipes would be of age to be the original one. And not only that, I mean, with all the ideas on how they're making films nowadays, they could take it and make the first Blade film and do all this stuff, and then by chance make it to where, I don't know, he does have a daughter, which is what they were going with, the Blade daughter, right? The story that they wanted to make the movie about her more. Make it to where like the first movie, they go after our Dracula, and then Dracula some way takes over Blade's body, which is a better body than he had. And the second movie be about his daughter coming to save the dad or fight the dad. And Wesley Snipes is now the Blade villain in the Blade body against the daughter, who's now the new Blade. Like, I don't see why that's not too far-fetched.
That sounds like a little too much like Blade 2 though.
Everything sounds like everything. Where
they take what's his name, Wesker or something like that.
Wesker.
Yeah, where they take him and then he finds him, he brings him back, you know, and then he gives him the antidote and shit like that, and you know, so that part kind of, I guess it would kind of be like the exact same storyline, but just flipping it. Instead of Wesker, now it's fucking, you know, it's actual Blade himself. That
Wesker in that film or in that story never becomes a villain. He just ends up being used because like the Daryl Dixon guy, like he's in the film trying to be like, oh, look, this fucking dude, he spent time with vampires. He's a bad guy. Like, they were just using him to kind of like, but that guy ended up being the bad guy, right?
Exactly. He was owned. You see under his lip. Yeah. And
but I'm talking about straight up. Blade is still doing his stuff. He's been doing it for years. He's maintained the action in the 616. He finally goes after Dracula, who is the actual Marvel Dracula, the one in the red night suit, long white hair, white. The overarching story is like the god of the vampires wants a new body, and the Daywalker body is the best one because it's the perfect body for him to use. So all you're going to do is you're going to take Wesley Snipes' character, have him be possessed by the god of the vampires, and then his daughter becomes the new Blade, and they have to fight Wesley Snipes, the villain, who is a possessed, never coming back Blade character. You know what I mean? Then you can use him still.
I'm gonna be honest, man. I would love to see if it ever did happen. I would love to see Blade team up with somebody along the same kind of aspect that he has. Team up with fucking Punisher and just go fucking vampire hunting.
That'd be dope. Like you're talking about Midnight Suns, right? Like Moon Knight, Punisher, Ghost Rider. Which Ghost Rider would you want to see? The Johnny Blaze or the Robbie Reyes?
I honestly, I would probably go Robbie.
Robbie? Oh shit. Yeah. That's dope.
You know, but it also depends on what variation they're gonna decide to go on with the whole Ghost Rider thing. Because what is it? Norman Reedus, they were thinking about him. Then they were also thinking about Keanu Reeves because he has the whole motorcycle background. Same thing with
he really likes that shit.
Yeah, like he even has his own fucking motorcycle company and all that crap. So it was up in the air. I don't know who the fuck they're deciding on. Obviously, we know he's gonna be what is it? Constantine again.
Oh yeah, I would love that. Fuck, I would love that so much.
You know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, going back to what we were talking about earlier, DC has so many. They have good characters. It's just that their fucking universe is all fucked. Like,
Yes.
you know, like you're never gonna see fucking Constantine like fucking with demons and shit, and all of a sudden he needs help and he's gonna go ask somebody for help. Like, there's absolutely nobody like, you know, in that fucking universe, or they don't mention anybody else in those movies. Like they don't even acknowledge that they're in the same fucking universe.
They also approached Nicolas Cage to come back as a writer for Secret Wars. Oh man, especially after Long Legs. He has, I mean, would you kind of consider that Nicolas Cage coming back as Ghost Rider is good? Like, in my opinion, I don't think he's aged well.
No.
Like, yeah, I don't think he's aged well too much. So I don't know. I would kind of like a new guy.
I
wouldn't. Played Ken.
The what?
The guy who played Ken in the Barbie movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think there was talks for him because he did the movie where he's driving the car. I just forgot his name. CGI. Like de-age him. I mean, I could see that. That's a lot of money though. Like for them to do it for the whole movie just to de-age him, most of it, would be kind of rough. I wouldn't mind them bringing back Nicolas Cage. Like if they did Robbie Reyes as the Ghost Rider. I mean, we know that it's a different story, but he does come in as this new, like the new Avengers comics, and he's done a very, very hell of a job doing it. And plus, Gabriel, what's his name? Gabriel Luna, the one that came out in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Ryan Gosling, there you go. Gabriel Luna from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did a fantastic job as Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Robbie Reyes, he did an excellent job. This guy, like he did a fantastic job as Robbie Reyes. And if you guys are fans of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we do know that at the ending of this character's part, he does find a way to use his whip to create the Doctor Strange portal, which means he is connected to magic and all that other stuff in the universe. Very, very cool character. I would like to see them bring back Ghost Rider with Nicolas Cage, but as Vengeance. Vengeance was another character. This would be really dope for Nicolas Cage to come back as. He was like the Venom version of Ghost Rider. Like the very, like, he was kind of like, he didn't like Ghost Rider, but he also did good things. You know what I mean? Maybe if they could do Gabriel Luna or Robbie Reyes and a Johnny Storm version of this character would be really, really cool. I think that would be really, really dope if they did a Ghost Rider character. But you know what? Like, speaking of all this crazy stuff that we're talking about, right? We do have the Deadpool movie with Wolverine, and this brings up into all the other stuff that we want to talk about. I know we got probably at a half an hour to kind of continue. The beginning of the film, we saw Deadpool kind of jumping between universes and all that stuff. And we even get a really good visual of a certain character of Wolverine that was very near and dear to us, coming close to the comic book arc that they're reaching right now, which is we had Old Man Logan, right? Old Man Logan appears for a split second. You see him do like a little thing. He's in his little shack that's very prominent in the comics. There's not really a lot going on. If you slow it down, you could probably find an Easter egg or two. It'd be cool to find something based on the Hulks, which is a very big part of his storyline in that situation. But we do see an Old Man Logan. And a lot of the stuff that Deadpool is doing in the beginning of that film is very reminiscent to the comic book that is Road to the End, which is the comic book coming into Secret Wars and all that stuff. But I think that's done very well in the comic books with the Old Man Logan story, where he's getting like punched and thrown over the wall. You're starting to realize there's like this. They're on this weird planet. He first lands and he sees all the X-Men, he lands in the X-Men. Then he lands in the Marvel Zombies story where She-Hulk is, and She-Hulk then throws him over the wall, which is like a very, very prominent place in Secret Wars. Then later on, he lands in the Technoverse, or the Iron Wars or the Iron Man Wars comic book line that continued on in the Secret Wars story. And then later on, he gets thrown out of there. and then he lands amongst the Young Avengers in the 616 or something like that, and then he gets to stay there for a bit. The Deadpool story brought in a lot of ideas to me like that I was like, okay, I could see this being a part of that. Like, this is a very nice intro to all of us, like seeing how they can do the multiversals thing going on in this universe. So the introduction of like the Age of Apocalypse, we saw the Ravagers comic book, we saw the 5'3" version of Hugh Jackman Wolverine. Brings in a lot of ideas because, of course, we just had San Diego Comic-Con, and at San Diego Comic-Con, they talked about probably one of the most talked about groups in comic book history that'll be coming up, which is the Fantastic Four. But the Fantastic Four is a very awkward situation because as of when this was released, we understand it has a very kind of like retro-y Fallout George Jetson-esque vibe to it, where there's like futuristic technology in the past. And if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that they talked about it being in an alternate universe, which kind of coincides with the idea of us getting maybe possible characters that have been in the universe with us, but in different formats, which is them introducing, of course, Robert Downey Jr. as Doomsday. Nico, I haven't had you on the show for a little bit. So with this all being said, how do you feel about the Fantastic Four and the introduction of Robert Downey Jr. as Doomsday? And do you think this version of him will be their version of Doomsday or Dr. Doom?
Okay, so first off, I fucking hate the Fantastic Four.
Like in general, or are you talking about like
just in general, bro? I don't get me wrong. I know Reed Richards has a huge fucking part in the whole like Secret War shit and all that crap, and but I fucking hate this team. I don't like them at all.
Okay.
Like, yeah, these guys should stay in that little era of like the 60s and 70s
and not come back.
Superheroes. Don't bring these fuckers back, man. Like, I'm sorry, but look, if they got mutant levels, I'm sorry, these guys are fucking weak as hell, bro. Like if you got Omega mutants and shit like that, these guys, I'm sorry. Reed Richards is probably like this. He's one of the smartest individuals. Don't get me wrong. He's up there with fucking Tony Stark and shit. But other than that, their powers suck ass. They're fucking horrible.
What do you mean their powers suck?
Their powers were the type of powers that little kids back in the 60s and 70s were like, oh my god, that would be so awesome if your arms could stretch, and oh my god, turn into fucking flames and fly around. That dude, fucking cheap as hell, bro. Fucking lame ass fucking powers they got.
Well, I mean, the Fantastic Four, Johnny Storm was really put into shame with the Deadpool movie. Which is very cool because there's been this like on-screen
was fucking hilarious,
like on-screen assassination of all the Fantastic Four characters. I don't know if you noticed, starting with WandaVision with Reed, and now with the Human Torch in Deadpool, Elastigirl, and that was the other thing too. Is I feel like this story is going to be very well if they do it very much like The Incredibles, like in that kind of like silly superhero format. But then I don't know how you put them in a nowadays format, like how you take them out of that and bring them into this. Elastigirl from The Incredibles could probably take Reed out. Damn, man, throwing shade. Nico's cooking, and LOL, Nico, you're my new favorite person. LOL. Damn, dude, you got a fan base just hating on the Fantastic Four. But you know what? Like the thing is the Fantastic Four being the first superhero family of the Marvel Universe. We've talked about this before on the show where I think it's very late in the game for them to be introduced. I think they should have already been there. I think we talked about it where like in No Way Home, they're getting rid of the building that should have been the Baxter building that they were buying out, and that the Fantastic Four would have moved in and they would have been the people that were working with NASA and the politics and creating all the with General Thunderbolt Ross and him becoming the new captain or the new Red Hulk and all that stuff. I think it would have made a lot of sense in that nature to bring him in that factor. But they didn't. They did it this way. Of course, they cheap out by using the multiverse. They had a really, really good introduction for these guys at Hall H. They had a giant inflatable car, which is a car that they use. But the one thing that kind of caught my eye with that car is, wasn't it very similar to what was that movie or TV show? There was a show that they did, and I cannot remember off the top of my head. It was one of the movies, and they had like a young Stark dad character, right? They had the father of Tony Stark doing a show about cars, and he was showing like the flying vehicle, and then he was like, oh, well, I thought it was going to work or whatever. I just can't remember off the top. Was it Winter Soldier?
I think it was Winter Soldier.
But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Like Howard Stark, right? Let me see if I can find Howard Stark. Howard Stark, MCU. When they bring this guy, maybe it was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. There is a part of the show when, oh yeah, this one. What movie was this? What movie was this from? I can't remember what this was from.
That's the first.
No, that's not the first What If, is it?
No, that's that isn't that the when Captain America first becomes the first.
Yes. But this was the actor in that one too? Was he was a main actor? Oh yeah, that's right, because they're in the airplane, right? What was it? Science show. There's a scene where he's on stage and he's talking about his flying vehicle, and that flying vehicle, I feel, was like a reminiscent to the car that they brought up on stage at the event for the Fantastic Four. So like, I wonder if around that time they're going to have it to where they were around during Howard Stark's time. Like, I really, really wonder, because
which would be what time frame?
That would be like, but that would be like closer to the 1940s. I want to say chronological, because it had to be during World War II, because I was, during the Nazi era, 40, 48, 47, 46.
You see, and that the whole thing about them going to space and getting their powers and shit, that would have to be in the 60s, 70s.
60s. Yeah. And Howard Stark in the MCU, let me see, car propulsion, propulsion, I don't know how to spell propulsion. Fuck it. Taking a chance, propulsion. Yeah, there's a part of the cinematic universe where he's on stage and he's using, oh yeah, right here. So like he brings up a car and he talks about how the propulsion unit works, and then it fails. And then later on we have, it's not the same vehicle style, but Fantastic Four car. This one. Oh, well, that's going to be the vehicle that they do, but I forgot to put SDCC.
That is dumb as fuck.
What? Why? Why do you think it's dumb? Look right there.
Yeah, that car looks stupid as hell too.
So they had this and it flew around, dude. Like, can you imagine, bro? Like, they're at the fucking event. I'm going to turn it on if I can find it. I don't need wicks. Look at that shit. I mean, it's a fucking inflatable, though. You can totally tell. It's like fucking floating around all weird and shit.
Yeah.
But like streamlined, you can kind of still keep it in the universe if you claimed it to be like 20 years after that design. Reed Richards sees Tony Stark do that on stage or like maybe in the news, and then he was like, I could do that better. You know what I mean? And then creates his own, and then that's how he kind of comes around being like this like legit scientist. He kind of revolutionizes a lot of the other stuff that other scientists do. Yeah, and then they like it shows, and then the Fantastic Four, there they are, they appear. Hey everybody, what's up? The car dropped this off, or I don't know what the fuck they're doing, but you get what I'm saying, dude. You get what I'm saying. Like the Fantastic Four is such an interesting cast of characters. Do I think it's gonna work? Do you think it's gonna work? Do you think introducing?
I don't even know why the fuck you're asking me. Like, I already told you my answer. It's stupid as fuck. Shit, I hate these guys. Like,
so then what's your take then on Robert Downey Jr. being Doom?
Okay, Dr. Doom, Robert Downey Jr., hands down. Okay, so if this is gonna be a multiverse type situation where if they were to use the name Tony Stark becoming Doom, and then later on reverting back to Iron Man, which would make sense coming back to the comic book versions and stuff like that, where Doom ends up becoming Iron Man later on in the future. But if they do that type of shit, it's okay. It makes sense because in another universe, that could possibly happen. But I'm not saying it's a stupid fucking idea. It's just one of those things where none of us really took that into consideration. Like, you know what? Like Robert Downey Jr. as fucking Doom, like, you know, like it didn't really click. Like no one really thought of this.
Yeah, because he was already a whole ass other main character.
Yeah, but if
That
you
would
got
be
to think
like
about it, they've done this, like you said, with the Human Torch, Captain America. Like, you know, they've done it several times, so it's not a huge shocker. It's not a surprise.
No, it's not a huge shocker. But then again, like you never assumed that the Human Torch, Chris Evans, was in the same realm as Chris Evans, Captain America, which again, thanks Ryan Reynolds for fucking making some weird shit happen. And it's not too far fetched from using like a character in the MCU to replace another character. But man, dude, like Robert Downey Jr. did such a memorial job as Iron Man. And like the whole thing was like his death at the ending of Infinity Wars. Like, did Doctor Strange see this shit and be like, yeah, bro, you got to die because you're going to be Doctor Doom? Like I saw a million and one. I saw 1,000,001 endings to this, and this is your story, dude. Like I don't like it.
I know you don't like it, but if Deadpool can jump into several multiverses and find that one fucked up stupid ass Wolverine that he found that supposedly was the bum out of all of them, you're telling me that there wasn't a Tony Stark somewhere out there? Because clearly there was a Thor, because he's fucking holding his ass. So that means there had to have been a Tony Stark somewhere in that fucking timeline. So basically it could be this is Tony Stark in an alternate or different.
Yeah,
universe.
most def. You know, most def. This cannot be the same.
And
Robert Downey.
if that's the case, then he's gonna start off as Doom and slowly convert back into Iron Man, which is gonna be the new Iron Man that they're gonna kick off. So yeah, I could see it happening.
Wait, what was it that I read earlier? I think Brian talked about it of Tom Cruise, the Tom Cruise, and I totally.
Oh yeah, people were thinking about it. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Tom Cruise as Iron Man would be hard pass. Hopefully he doesn't. That was Elizabeth that said that, and Brian had said right before.
Oh my god, dude! Read Tom Elizabeth's the most recent Elizabeth comment.
What is it? Die as a hero and live long enough to become a villain. However, the quote goes, AKA mutant multiverse but that's the problem, is that there's a multiverse that kind of gives you this opportunity to kind of rewrite a bunch of shit that did wrong. So now they could just go off and be like, oh, you know, WandaVision, like I know, or Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Yeah, that movie sucked because in another universe, it was actually a good movie and made sense. Okay, so we're going to take all the good parts from that universe that we didn't make and use those characters to come in and because they're way better than those. And it's like,
okay, you just said something. You just said something that kind of would, in my mind, it kind of clicks.
Yeah.
Okay, you said WandaVision.
Yeah.
WandaVision, if they would have kept the black and white type thing going, and then they kind of slowly lead up, like let's just say, 3 years later or some shit like that, and they keep on going, they could have had a TV where they're showing or glimpses of the Fantastic Four, or at least mention the name Reed in there as a scientist or something.
But that's the same thing. It's the same problem that they had with Osborn in Spider-Man. Like the Tom Holland character that we have right now does not have an Osborn. And they were talking about making a cartoon and putting Osborn in it, and then it being like a new version of it. And it's like, bro, it's too late. Like that boat's already fucking sailed. The only thing you can do now is just go back and use another character who has an Osborn. Like that's it. Like it's not hard. Like now you have the multiverse. Like fuck all. Like fuck all everything you want to do and say you couldn't do before. Like they can do it now. Like literally, like this thing that they're gonna do. Do I have faith? Sure. I think the Russo brothers, they had a plan ever since the ending of the other one. What's up, Mark? Good to see you in the comment section. It says, I don't get it either. Why? And it's true. It's true. It's very true. We got Brian in stage. Brian, what is up, my dude? Got you in house.
Listen, I can't sit back and let this happen anymore. You guys are just a bunch of fucking haters, man. My boy RDJ is back, and you guys are complaining.
Yes, I'm complaining. I am. I don't know about Nico. Nico's
all right.
He says he's cool with it.
Okay, yeah. So I guess this is for you then, Chris, because
this
is ridiculous. You telling me that we had to sit there through freaking phase 4, which was just a disaster, and phase 5 really hasn't been any different. And now we have RDJ back to
Mhm.
kind of save the Marvel universe, which I do think that he has the capability of doing, and you are still unhappy. I don't get it.
Oh, I mean, I do. I agree with you. I think he has the possibility of saving the universe, just like Ryan Reynolds did with Deadpool. There's no tangibility as to what's necessary to save anything. So for them to bring bring RDJ back, I think that's great. But I don't think there's any there's no intrinsical value to bringing him back other than he was Iron Man, and now we can see him be a bad guy. Which
Okay,
I don't
what's
know.
wrong with that?
Like, what is that? What would it matter if he was Doctor Doom? Like, what does that factor
What do you
into
mean?
at all? Like, is it the factor? Like, what is it? What is it value to? Because you would assume like Doctor Doom would have been an Iron Man villain, and that's how it happened. The reason why this concept came in was a what if comic book, and the only reason why it was because Doctor Doom is intrinsically a Reed Richards villain who's like one of the smartest guys on the planet. And someone was like, what would be cool is if Doctor Doom worked with Tony Stark, who was another genius. Like, what would happen and how would their dynamic change? Which that's where we get this idea.
So
Which is cool,
there's a few instances where not just that one what if where Doom and Tony cross paths. There have been a few. Yeah, there's been a few. So, and to be honest with you, I don't think they're gonna do any of that shit. I think they're basically, and I don't know if you were reading the comments, but yeah, I honestly think their best bet is to make this version of Tony Stark be adopted by the Starks, but he was originally a Doom. And so at some point, something happens, he figures out that he's a Doom, and there you go. He takes up the mantle of Von Doom. And I think that's where and I think that right there is gonna be the easiest way and the most palatable way for people to understand this and to accept it. I think you go any other way, people are gonna reject it. They're not gonna be. They're like, if you just ignore it and just say, "Hey, this is our DJ, and now he's Doctor Doom," you're gonna fail.
That's a small window, though. It's a small window to say that that's the only opportunity that they can make it work with.
Yeah, but I mean, they have your beloved Russo brothers and their writers and RDJ. Why not?
I don't know, man. I think it's really far fetched. It's just a really far fetched notion to be like even right now you're saying.
Thing. I think it's more of a change thing. Like, people are not going to want their idea of what RDJ did with Tony Stark to change, and people are gonna I think similar to what you're feeling is that they're just going to reject it automatically without giving it a chance. But they're in trouble. Like, no matter what, I don't give a fuck what Deadpool does. This is a one-off. This was something that was spearheaded by Ryan Reynolds and his writers. That's not going to be the same thing for moving forward.
Yeah,
you have an opportunity to actually execute on these next two Avengers movies to put your franchise back on track. You put the right people that put you there before back in place, and I think it's a smart move. And what are the other options? They were going to go the Kang route, which, I like Kang, but apparently everybody else fucking hated it. So, like, what are your options here?
Yeah, it's like the safer route you're saying, right?
I think it's the better.
Like a safer logistical route. Like, hey, you know what? Like, RDJ, like, he's a character we've already used him. We gave him a finale. We gave him a beginning and an ending. And now what we could do is say, like, since there's a multiverse, if we have one Iron Man that was the one that Doctor Strange agreed that was the greatest, that was the saving person, which I guess is kind of familiar with like the Wolverine that they talk about, where he's like that one overarching character that saves the universe or whatever. I guess Tony Stark in that world, which is the Marvel Cinematic Universe, was that character. Like, I forgot what they called it, but like the anchor, they called it like the anchor character or some shit.
It's an anchor character, yeah.
Yeah. So I think if you were to say like that's overarching the idea that they're saying that RDJ was as Iron Man as Tony Stark in that universe, that there has to be several iterations of him in different forms. And the one that they're doing is like, since he was a hero in that story, maybe in another one he is like some overarching villain. But
and
what
just
I'm saying,
imagine you have time travel now. You have time travel. You get RDJ to play a version of Von Doom, and then somehow you go back and get our fucking RDJ Iron Man to save the day.
But you can't, because he's dead. Because he was the anchoring character, remember?
So
they don't bring those back.
You can go back in time. Why not? You can go back in time and bring him back. Yes, you can.
That
You
would
could
be
bring
weird.
you could
They-
bring
they-
people back. You could bring people
Well, yeah,
back
but
from
then
the
that would have
void.
been the exact same storyline with the Wolverine that just died.
Yeah.
There
But he
would
was
be
a-
no reason for them to go back and look for another fucking Wolverine if he could have just changed time then.
Yeah. But that was okay. So the reason I'll come up to bat for that one, and the reason why they chose not to do that is because Ryan Reynolds promised the director and Hugh Jackman and all those people that they would not touch the Logan movie Wolverine. So they were like, we won't go back in time. That's why they did that whole thing where they didn't go back in time to take him out of that timeline and ruin that movie. They just let him desecrate his grave. Like, great. Fucking
Well,
what a way
hold
to
on.
do
Let
it.
me ask you a question. So in Endgame, when they go back in time and they go back to the war in the attack on New York, right? Black Widow's alive then, right? She
Yeah.
fought with them during the war, the battle in New York.
That was the big argument. Yeah. I know where you're going. I know exactly where you're going.
Yeah. So like, if you guys can't figure that out, then why not just use it in this instance then?
Yeah, because they did that with Gamora, and they said, like, remember there was a whole sad scene at the lake where they were like, we couldn't do it to Black Widow, and I was like, well, why not? Like, why the fuck not? Like, why couldn't you just go? Why couldn't you go after you got the stone and you stopped Thanos? Go to where she's falling in that fucking planet where Thanos or where Hawkeye and her fighting, and they jump down and catch her and just bring her home.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't you just do it then? Right? Like,
Yeah.
you just save her and be like, hey, you did it. I'm from the future. You did it. You saved all of us. Now everything's cool over here. So we're just going to take you out of the timeline. And everything's cool. Everything's cool. They did it with Gamora. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, you got me on that point. I mean,
yeah, because I think we talked about that before a long time ago, that the timeline was going to be very sketchy because time travel and all that stuff is very hard to work with. And all it takes is like one mistake for it to be very difficult to play with. So like with this, I understand this because of course you and I, Nico too, we know what the Secret Wars story is about. You're going to get a lot of different iterations of a lot of different characters. And the only ones that are going to make an impact that matter to our timeline is going to be the ones that are on the life raft, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are, and we've talked about that before, that we think a majority of them bringing the Reed family in and stuff, they're going to have the timeline. But let me ask you then, because Brian, are you out of work already or what?
No, dude, I literally stopped closing the bar.
You're like,
I refuse,
I'm letting people wait.
I refuse to let you guys shit on my boy RDJ. We're not going to do that. I cannot be associated with this show and allow that to happen.
Some person in the back's like, can you just check me out, sir? And you're like, fuck you, stay a little longer.
Yeah, they're probably looking for me right now, and I'm over here on the side in some alleyway arguing with you guys about RJ and Von Doom in the MCU. That's what I'm doing.
That's dope. Don't get in trouble. Do not get in trouble, Brian.
Fuck it, I'll be all right.
So let me ask you guys then, do you think this version of Doctor Doom is going to be the villain in the Fantastic Four movie?
Yes. I don't know. Yeah, probably.
I would say yes, but yes. I would say within, because they're gonna use this character later on in the future, like 2-3 movies from now, and this motherfucker is gonna end up becoming the new Iron Man. So yes.
So you think this guy's gonna go all the way through and make a whole like Doctor Doom Iron Man outfit and all that shit?
Yeah.
I think from and I'm just when it comes to just spoilers and all that stuff, I have to know. I do from what I read, this version of Doom is not a part of the Fantastic Four universe. So
yeah, I wouldn't assume he is.
There's no Doom in their universe, but at some point, Doom. This version of Doom knows way more than everybody else in his universe and winds up in or somehow crossing paths with the Fantastic Four. But I think honestly, I think that RDJ. I do think that we're gonna get a cameo from RDJ in that movie as a post-credit scene. And a lot of people were saying that was already shot. Like that was shot before the announcement was done. Because if you remember, we were talking about this like this report came out like a month or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have been trying to get him, and then when like they didn't just sign him the day of Comic-Con. They didn't just sign
he had already
him
been
a
lined
day
up
or two before. He had already been signed, and this was just waiting to be released.
Mm-hmm.
So I think within that time, he probably shot his cameo, and that's already set in the can and ready to go.
Yo, you know what he's charging per visit of films or per shot? You know how much he's charging to be in films?
Well, I know we talked about it. I think we talked about it last week. I know what they're paying him. I know what
He's charging
I know.
100 million per film to be in.
I think it might end up being more than that because if you break down his contract, because it leaked. Variety put out an article about how much the Russos are getting paid collectively and how much RDJ is getting paid collectively. And RDJ is getting paid, apparently the way that they worded it, above 80 million for both of those movies, but he's also getting points on the movies. So like however good it does in the gross, he gets a cut of that.
Yeah, he gets a cut of that too. Yeah, this guy's
he is going to be
easily one of the top paid actors
of
above Will Smith and all that other stuff, dude.
Yeah, no, he is set up for life. Like this was and that's kind of a little bit icky for me because it's just a payday. But I mean, it's Robert Downey Jr., so you gotta give him his room to cook.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he's going to be in the Fantastic Four movie. If he does, maybe it's a cameo, like you said, or maybe their world ends up possibly almost being destroyed and they leave, and this is the doom that they're dealing with. I do believe that this guy can pull off a really badass version of God Doom. You know what I mean? Like he's the overarching like mastermind Doom. I want to protect everybody and put a body of suit or an armor around it. Like this would be the guy. Like this would be the character that could go that direction.
I think they'll get another person to play God Doom. I do think God Doom is coming, but I don't think they'll get RDJ to play God Doom.
I don't know, man. I think he's got Doom. I think he's going to be the Secret Wars Doom.
We'll see.
Like I think I'll roll him in, and the reason why is because of the not the Infinity War, but Ultron, Age of Ultron movie when he says that I want to put an armor around the planet.
Yeah.
Like I think that's what they're going to go with in that nature. But I don't know about the adoption thing. I don't know if I'm too much about that. I do remember that in the What If story, they do some kind of like brain transfer.
It's a mind. It's like a mind transfer. So you're telling me that you would rather a mind transfer, but it's still going to be, you know, Iron Man and Doom. That doesn't really take care of your problem here.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying like it be that story, but Doom kills Doom kills the Iron Man in the Doom body.
See, that's too much.
And he just survives.
You're asking your fans and your loyal fans to do a lot of believing, as opposed to something as simple as him being adopted.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. Like it literally is the same thing. You're asking them to believe some weird shit that now RDJ is this other full ass character.
And being adopted is more weird than fucking mind transfusions.
It's the Marvel Cinematic Universe, bro. There's literally giant humanoid creatures in space yanking people out of parks, dude. And you think this is gonna be the weirdest thing? There's a giant humanoid body coming out of the ocean right now. That
you're gonna have some normies. You're gonna have some normies girlfriend in the theater being like, "What the fuck just happened?
What's Iron Man doing in that costume?"
Yeah, bro, you can't do that. Like, no, you're not gonna want to do that. You have to make a movie that everyone understands, the normies and the sweats. And I think, and again, I could be 1,000% wrong, but I think just to tell a story and to get this through to where it's palatable for everyone to understand it and just go along with it, I think that's the easiest road to go.
Nico, what about you?
I'm with Brian on this one.
Whoa, dude, you guys have a lot of faith in this shit, man. Well, at least more faith than I do. I still just feel it's just, I don't know, like I
any faith in it. That's the problem.
Yeah. I'm just telling you, I think it would have been an easier thing for them to go with a whole new character or bring in, like I said, like the old Fantastic Four guy, which was probably a dumber idea. But like RDJ was like fucking shot in the dark, 138,000 degrees in the opposite direction, I was thinking. But again, I vouched for the Russo brothers that they had an idea, and those two motherfuckers stood on stage and were excited to yell this out. So they got something cooking. You know what I mean? But with that, I got to ask, like with that coming, they said 2 years and this is going to be in the works or coming out, right? The Doomsday, right? Doomsday is going to be coming out in 2 years.
2026.
Between that, they've talked about the Hulk movie. Now that we have the idea of the multiverse and all this stuff, is there an opportunity for them to pull off a good World War Hulk movie?
I don't think I'm looking for it. I'm sure they can. It depends on who you get to to do it, but I don't necessarily need that. I don't think. Listen, the MCU needs wins, bro.
Yes, it does.
They can't be dicking around right now, bro. Like they need to have wins.
And they
Like,
got a
they need to
short
get
window,
dubs.
man. 2
Yeah, they
years.
need to get dubs, bro. So all that time for experimenting and getting these Rick and Morty writers to be doing your shows and shit, all that's dead, bro. It's
Dead.
over for that. It's dead for that.
Dead.
You got to get dubs. Like this Deadpool movie was a win. You got to keep pumping those out to undo all the shit that you just did with Phase 4 and 5.
Yeah. So I mean, but the thing is we've heard they're thinking about a World War Hulk movie, right? And we've talked about this before. Nico, I don't know if you were on the show with us when we talked about it, or if you've been here before when we talk about Hulk. I'm a huge Hulk fan. And when She-Hulk came out and they introduced the Son of Hulk and all that stuff, I 100% said, like, there's no fucking way. But if we're talking about them starting some type of, because we do know at the end of Doctor Strange 2, they talk about an incursion coming and all of this stuff. What if they're able to pull off an incursion and each one of the Hulks in the previous universes do play a role? So you have Eric Bana, and let's say he comes in as a maestro. Then you have Edward Norton's Hulk come in, and he's like World War Hulk, the gladiatorial World War Hulk from the original World War Hulk series. And then you have Mark Ruffalo's character, which is playing like the Smart Hulk. And then the Smart Hulk has to go around with She-Hulk and apparently like Red Hulk with the Harrison Ford character. And like maybe you introduce like what was it, Abomination and all of these people and the Mastermind that's supposed to be coming out in the New World Order movie or whatever. And they all have like a full-on like Hulk war going on around the world where there's just a bunch of different variations doing damage and business. Like, do you think it works? Nico's just straight shaking his head, dude. Brian, what about you, man? Are you still there? Oh no, he's oh.
Yeah, no,
Brian.
I'm still here. I'm closing the bar, but I mean, again, I'm not necessarily looking for it. I think if they were going to do a World War Hulk story, they shouldn't have used them in Thor Ragnarok. Like that was just a waste.
Yeah, that
so now
kind of
you're
kills
going
it,
to
right?
be so now you're just going to have to I mean, it would make sense if you're going to use because you got to have the Thor core, right? That's what they call it, the Thor core.
The Thor core, yeah.
Yeah, the Thor core. Like you need them for Secret Wars.
Yes, you do.
So if that's going to lead into explaining why they're in Secret Wars, I'm for it. But if it doesn't have a reason solely other than just another Hulk movie, I don't need it personally.
So you're kind of on the fence of it being like if it doesn't have to do with the overarching story of going into Secret Wars or Doomsday, like it's kind of like a throwaway. It's not important.
This is what we've been getting. We've been getting a whole bunch of movies and shows that really don't tie into anything.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna give me another one of those movies, that's the type of shit that got you
into this in the first place.
Yeah, in this position in the first place. So again, if there's no end game here, I don't need it.
Nico, what about you? I know I saw you shaking your head, so I know you got something to say.
Okay, first off, you already know the way I feel about She-Hulk. So I know she has a role in it. I know she has a role in Secret Wars, but fuck that, dude. Yeah, don't give me that movie. If you're gonna half-ass it, don't fucking do it. I really want like Planet Hulk or World War Hulk, anything. Just don't fuck it up. Like don't, like Brian said, if it doesn't lead to anything, don't fucking do it.
True.
If it's not gonna lead to something fucking amazing later on where it ties into something, don't fucking touch it. Just leave it alone. I'd rather just stay with the animation movie and I'm happy with that.
One thing before you respond to that, Chris, just to piggyback off of what Nico said, I think it's in their contract, the Russos, that is, it's in their contract that they are overseeing all movies from here on out until Secret Wars.
Holy shit! I didn't even know that.
Like they have to revise it. I don't think they have to write it, but they have to make sure that it correlates. They have to be aware of what's going on.
Damn! So they're kind of like in charge of whatever else is going on. That's really good to hear.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I like what Elizabeth put on the comments where she said that she could see it as a series. If the series is gonna be something similar to like Spartacus or something like that, or what is it? oh my god, Blood and Sand or whatever.
Yeah.
If it's something like that, yes, by all means, but fucking make the series. But
yeah, but they've already ruined that opportunity for it to be the gladiatorial story. They've already ruined that. We're past that. We're that's Planet Hulk. We're talking about World War Hulk. It's when he comes back to the Earth and he's like, "Fuck the Illuminati, fuck all those people."
He's pissed. He's super pissed.
Yeah, he's got to be super angry, and of course at the end of Infinity War and everything else, like even She-Hulk, like he's not mad at all. He's chilling out. He's got his son. They're about to go backpacking and visit Disneyland and all that shit. Like he's nothing. But like I said, the possibility of them doing a multiverse incursion and then throwing in an Eric Bana and an Edward Norton, and those guys are like, where the fuck are we? We're lost and we're pissed. Maybe one of them works. Maybe one of them works. Would I want to see a Maestro? No. I know every one of the weird normies that sees him in like the Avengers game.
You're bugging. You are bugging.
No. It's what else? I mean, what else are you gonna do? Like, how else do you start a World War Hulk? Like, how else do you start a World War Hulk?
Wait, are you saying that you don't, or you do want Maestro?
I don't want a Maestro for this.
Oh, you're crazy.
The reason why is because like you'd have to be a Hulk fan to know who Maestro is. But Maestro is better for like a Secret Wars as a villain, like in the group of villains, not as like his own, like he's the World War Hulk. Because he's overarching the fucking strongest Hulk, dude.
Yeah, but you're telling me they can't do the same bullshit storyline that they did with Thanos, where Hulk comes in crashing into Doctor Strange's fucking house, and he's like, he's coming, and then who the fuck? Who are you talking about?
And then it'd be Maestro.
Yeah, something along that line, like like
no. What I'm talking about is like they send these Hulk guys into our universe during the incursion, but they're just mad. They're already savage. They're already bolt out. Like for some reason, they're just upset. And the incursion comes from you have the theory is they're already like in talks. They already popped off like today. Actually, it was like on an X tweet that Eric Bana is in talk to return to the Marvel universe for World War Hulk. And a lot of people are talking about his Hulk since he's the oldest one being Maestro. Maestro would be a great Hulk villain, but like he's like the ultimate version of the Hulk. He's the smartest and the strongest. Like he's tanked every character. Like he would be like literally the strongest one. So you can't put Mark Ruffalo's Hulk against that Hulk. Like you just can't. You can't. There's no way. Edward Norton's Hulk was pretty good. But like he never got like a run. Like he never got like a really good run. And then not only that, them using the pictures of that character in the original Avengers movies means that those two characters are the same one. You know what I mean? So the Hulk from the Edward Norton Hulk is the Mark Ruffalo Hulk.
I'm sorry. The Edward Norton one, hands down, was my favorite one.
That was your favorite? No, that's fine. I mean, I agree. I thought it was super good. Thought it was great. That's where we got Abomination. But that Hulk is the Mark Ruffalo Hulk. That wasn't that wasn't a alternate universe Hulk. That was just to replace the actor because the actor was an asshole at the moment. So the only other optional Hulk that we have is Eric Bana, which if you break it down, he is the more cartoony version of the Hulk. When he gets mad, he gets bigger. The running, the animation, the way the character design is, he's very cartoony, very animated. So you can instantly change it into any of the characters. I wouldn't say the gladiatorial one, but I would say at least like the Maestro one. But I don't know, man. I don't know how I would feel like a World War Hulk versus Maestro. Like I'll throw that out there for you guys to think about. But what if we had a World War Hulk where we have Mark Ruffalo, he is the Hulk, and he's like the century substitute in this story versus Maestro from an alternate universe during the incursion? What do you guys think?
I mean, personally, I love Maestro in Battle World, so I'm all for it. Like I said,
but do you think that works?
If you want to give me that version of Hulk earlier, I'm not going to turn that down just because I'm a fan. So and I know you're a fan of him too. So this is why this is weird.
Well, no, because I'm a fan of the World War Hulk story itself, and Maestro's not in that story at all. But I know right now Marvel doesn't have a lot of opportunities to work with.
Yeah, but I was pretty sure that we've talked about Maestro plenty of times on the show, and you've always
he's a G. Yeah, he's a fucking G. Yeah. No, I don't have any problem with Maestro. Like, don't get me wrong. So then
why would you not want to see him in the MCU?
Because of the gatekeeping in my idea for what I believe World War Hulk should have been. There's already a great story that they created, which was what's the masterpiece? The Hulk off planet by the Illuminati, comes back after a gladiatorial thing and creates friendships with all these people. His planet, after he becomes clean, blows up, gets sent back, fights the Illuminati all the way through until the very end, where he ends up fighting the Sentry, who's the only other person in the world that can beat him, and that's it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's a great story. But yeah, if they do it with Maestro, I can see it happening, but I don't know how. I would have to see it. But Nico, what do you got, man? I know you're saying you got to bounce out already, Nico, or what?
Yeah, man, I gotta take off. I gotta wake up like at 3 a.m.
Oh, true that. Damn, man, what you got? You
Yeah,
got work in
I'm
the
out
morning?
too. I gotta get back to work. So, guys, it was great.
Brian,
No,
I
I've been
love
trying
you,
to get
man.
off. I've been trying to get off like that 20 minutes, but you guys
I know.
are drawing me in. But no, I gotta get out. You guys are great. Chris, hold it down, please.
Love you, brother. Take it easy.
Later.
Yeah, we're like, usually we try to stop around 10 o'clock, so I know it's kind of late, Nico. I know it's kind of late for you too, man. But yeah, the only other things I kind of wanted to cover, where I'll bring it up right now, which of course is the Avengers and breaking off into Secret Wars and Doomsdays. Of course, we already kind of covered the majority of that, so that's not even too far fetched. These are the movies that are coming out. We got like 2 years, 2 years, and then 3 years for it to pop off. Doomsday, of course, will be the introduction and the break into the Robert Downey Jr. Doomsday story, Doctor Doom. And then, of course, Secret Wars is what it'll break into. And I just wanted to ask where you guys would think if they made a World War Hulk, if it could be pulled off. But yeah, with what we were talking about, what do you think about the Maestro situation for World War Hulk?
Okay, so I don't think they're gonna go that route with the whole
Maestro.
Hulk thing. The Maestro thing. No, I don't see it.
Very far reaching, right?
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. Later on in the future, like if they ever decide to try and pull these storylines off, they could do it.
Yeah.
Edward Norton's not coming back. He's not gonna come back at all.
True.
You know, he's gonna be a little bitch about it, and if they really want him, they're gonna make him pay up. Like, and honestly, he's at that point where he's unsatisfied and he's unhappy. Where if you're gonna give me a shitty fucking attitude and you're not gonna play the character properly, then I don't want you. Plain and simple. Like, if you don't want to be part of the universe, you know, yeah, he's gonna want the money, obviously, as an actor. But if you're not gonna fucking dedicate yourself into this role, then don't fucking bother. Like,
100%. I 100% agree. What would be your take if they do like a cliff notes of a World War Hulk story, knowing again, like, we have like a 2-year window between them fitting this movie, this idea, and you know how big, like, I do truly believe that you know how big this comic book was, like, in comic book history. Like, what would you see for a World War Hulk movie in a 2-year format, like in a 2-year ideal?
I'm sorry, but this is not a one and done movie. Like, you're gonna have to actually fucking stretch it out a little bit. Yeah. So yeah, I said, huge. It's not gonna be something that's gonna get pulled off in the middle, like you said, between these other movies. Yeah. There's no fucking way. You know, this is gonna have to be something after fucking Secret Wars or something. You know, but it depends on how they play the storylines. But for them to squeeze this in between, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat with you, dude. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think it's too big of a story for them to fit into like a one-off. Yeah, like it's way too huge, especially for them to get it right. But we do know from like the She-Hulk and all that stuff that they did kind of rush a lot of this stuff, and I think they just they dug themselves in a hole, dude. I know you don't like She-Hulk. I don't like She-Hulk either, but we don't even mention that right now. But like, even if she gets a second season, like, they have to fix the first season.
God damn,
from how they handled themselves. Yeah, it's rough, bro. It's rough. But Nico, again, I appreciate you coming on. I know you got to come in a little bit late, but I do appreciate you. Where can we find you if we need to find you? And of course, dude, your store.
Oh my God, I haven't even brought this up in your. Okay, all right, cool. All right, first off, guys, you can find me on Facebook. It's Nico NYKO. My last name is Cantu, Cantu. Look me up. My Facebook profile pic is Scrooge McDuck.
Or Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah, Scrooge McDuck. Always hustling. Now the thing is, I'm in the process of opening my shop, and it's probably gonna happen mid August. I don't have a specific open date yet, But if you guys want to look it up, it's Iconic Collectibles, and my logo is actually like the little Cthulhu. There you go. Yeah,
I'll bring
fuck
this up
that
right
shit.
now so you guys can see it if you're on the chat with us and in the
Yeah,
live.
guys. So I would really appreciate it. I'm trying to grow the page. You know, I'm gonna be doing giveaways. I'm gonna be doing drawings and stuff like that. Like, you know, just to kind of interact more with the fans and the people, kind of like the way you guys do it here, the whole
Yeah,
comments and stuff. You know, so I want to follow up with the people who are following the page, stuff like that. They like certain things. They can follow me to the events that I'll be, you know, going to. Like if I go to South Texas Comic Con or whatever, PokeFest, all these type of things.
Or
That, you know,
Anime
they'll
Expo.
be,
Do we have
yeah,
Anime Expo coming up?
they'll be updated there on that page to
Anime
find me.
Fiesta.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man, if you guys are interested, if you guys want, do me a favor, follow the page. I would really deeply appreciate it.
Coming
But
soon.
yeah, man. So, like I said, hopefully mid-August. Once I do actually open, I would love to jump in on live with you and kind of just, you know, do a little live video and we could just fuck around and just bullshit.
Most def, brother. Most def. I just went ahead and I put the link in the chat, guys. So if you are watching with us live right now, and if you are watching the video, it is in the comment section. If you guys could go check out Iconic Collectibles, Nico Cantu, our boy here, running a shop. It's going to be up soon, brick and mortar, hopefully. And you can catch him with updates where you'll see him at events and everything like that.
Yeah.
Nico, I want to say thank you so much for jumping on the show. You are invited anytime. You already know this. So like when you do get everything, like you say, up and started and you wanting to come on, you literally just tell us where you want to go or if you want us there. And we're there to bring in the noise and argue and talk mad shit about
dude.
stuff. So
yeah,
brother. You just let us know, man.
I'm not gonna bullshit. I would love for you to go and just shoot like a you know, quick little clip, like little video thing for me. You know?
Oh yeah, little advertisements and stuff, or little
dude,
just showing up.
Work your magic,
dude.
bro. Yeah,
I
just
go out
work
there
your
and
magic.
do
Do
like
whatever you do.
some TikTok dance or something, right?
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, dude, I'll show up in some real nice booty shorts, man, and just give a little dance for the crowd. Ooh, OnlyFans, baby. But yeah, Nico, I want to say thank you, man. I know you got to get out of here. I appreciate you, man, for jumping in and not letting me run this solo and just go crazy by myself. So I appreciate you. I appreciate Brian. Appreciate the boys. So yeah, man, let us know what's up when we can help you out when you need it.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Once again, thank you for having me, you guys. I really had a lot of fun reading the comments. So yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Deuce, brother. Later. Yeah, guys. So there you go. Guys, again, this is Nico's store page. If you get a chance, go check it out. It is called Iconic Collectibles. The link is here in the chat. I appreciate every one of you for coming in. And with that being said, I want to make sure that I talk to this. I say thank you to everyone today that jumped in on the chat. We appreciate every one of you. Mark, Vince, Miguel, Elizabeth, Rob, all the guys that jumped in. We had Derpy, Brian, of course, George, my boy from Laredo up in here too. We also had Jay Ree, Jay, of course, and what was for King Yeti jumped in at the very beginning. I know usually he jumps off around like 9:30, 10 o'clock, so always appreciate you guys. But yeah, if you get a chance, Vince too, my man, dude, if you get a chance and you guys are still here watching, let me know what you think. The last part of the conversation that we were talking about, let me open this back up because it's something that's been on my mind for a bit, is the Hulk story. Apparently the talks are Planet Hulk within the next 2 years before they do the Doomsday story, right? Which is this May 2026. If you're not familiar, Comic Storian and of course Comics Explained have a really, really good breakdown of Planet Hulk to World War Hulk. Highly recommended. If you're just there chilling out at the house and you're doing some cooking or some cleaning or some just leisure kind of stuff and you have some downtime and you want to hear like a cool audio book, I recommend Comic Storian, Benny, RIP, man, miss you, brother, and Comics Explained. If you guys, Rob Jefferson, if you guys want to go check them out, they have a really, really good explanation of the story. And then come to consideration of what it is that you think the MCU could possibly get away with in the next 2 years. Of course, we talked about it earlier. There were theories about Eric Bana coming back. Edward Norton, I really doubt it, but there is always still possibilities. Marvel has a way to just do some crazy shit. But yeah, Eric Bana coming back as some type of Hulk representative, since he was a Hulk and a major contributor to the Marvel universe back in the day in the films, and becoming like this new villain or whatever when it comes to the incursion. Let me know. I'm a huge fan of the World War Hulk series. So any type of theory or thoughts or ideas or conspiracies on how you think it's going to come through, let me know in the comment section. I really, really dig it. I want to say first, thank you to everybody that stayed on the podcast today and came in. We appreciate every one of you for always supporting us and jumping in and hanging out with us on Sunday nights. I know sometimes we get a little bit late, but it's what we do. When we get carried away, we get carried away, and it's always fun. I want to say I appreciate to all our extraordinary listeners. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you do listen to us with streaming services and podcasting, don't forget we are on all your different podcasting sites, Google, Apple, wherever you listen to podcasts, our podcast is there. I'll make sure that I start uploading the recent episodes that we've had. So that'll be uploaded soon. And yeah, I want to say thank you to everybody that joined us today and that joins us every week. We appreciate every one of you. We hope you have a fantastic week this week. Be safe, be good to everybody, and we appreciate you. So yeah, have a good weekend or have a good week. Enjoy work, and we'll see you guys again here on the show next Sunday on the Average Joe's podcast. Don't forget, Adam Collectibles also does their podcast midweek. Don't forget, Chew a New Podcast also does a really great show during the week. Also, Mark was in the show today in the comment section, so we thank them also. So, guys, thank you, and yeah, we'll see you. Laters.